Welcome back to the Busted Shovel podcast. I'm Busted, he's Shovel,
Hi.
and today we're gonna go over kind of summarizing our thoughts and feelings of the Sleep Token big trilogy album and their newest album, Even in Arcadia. Because we just finished the review. We let that album simmer just a little bit to try to see where it all fits in together as far as like ranking it for us. So we're just gonna dive on in. We're gonna start with Sundowning. Are we doing Sundowning Deluxe or are we doing Standard?
I think since it's the only album with a deluxe, I feel like it's fair to just take like the standard because obviously you have like what the hell is it called, the room down below,
Yeah, from
the room below,
yeah, something like that.
which I mean has some of the most beautiful covers and stuff in the Bloodsport
Yeah.
version. But also want to touch on, we're not going to talk about the early stuff, like what I think it's 1 and 2 and Jaws and all that. I think we're going to leave that out. It's just
Yeah,
purely
the
going to
big
be the
three.
albums, yeah, and then even in Arcadia. But yeah, the goal is to kind of come to a consensus a bit, I guess. We can try to average out each other's, but ideally have our individual 1 through 4 of all the albums that have come out, because before we get into Sundowning, actually, even in Arcadia was so insane, and there's a lot to talk about with that, especially with a lot of things that are being alleged around it. But
Yeah.
we'll save that for later. But starting off with Sundowning, I mean, like most Sleep Token albums, because we'll probably say this across the board. For me personally, not a single skip on this album.
Oh
Like
no.
every
No.
single song, I love the way it flows from title track, well not title track, the starting track to the ending track. Like everything flows super well. I like the structure of it. There was actually a cool little metal podcast. I can't remember their name. They're not little. They're actually pretty big, where they had the producer for the first and second album on. It's George Lever. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's something around there. But he talked about like creating these albums a bit and stuff, and adding the context to it of like the things they had to go through to make it, and it's really cool. Like, I love this album. I jammed to this one a ton. Lyrically, I think getting that first true like nosedive in to what Vessel is talking about and what the band kind of represents is very interesting. Like, what's up?
Happy birthday, Tom!
Oh, thank you.
Took too long. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of fun stuff musically in this album. Like, obviously, "The Night Does Not Belong to God" is this very interesting, like, damn near gospel-y sound.
And still like one of the greatest like intros.
Oh,
out
definitely,
there. It's
yeah.
just it's a masterpiece.
The melodic prowess I think they displayed with this title track, or I keep saying title track, opening track is really, really good. It's just very jammy. A lot of awesome stuff in that song specifically. It's one of my favorites of all time. If you want to see where I ranked it, the very first video we posted, we did the top 20 Sleep Token songs even in Arcadia. So check that out, and you can see how we feel about it. But a lot of cool stuff. The Offering, I think, is the. I have a hot take here, actually. It's either the first or second among all the discography of back-to-back songs. I think the way The Offering hits after "The Night Does Not Belong to God,"
it's so good.
it is insane. Like, I did not expect it. Like, because obviously Sleep Token is not metal, but they have heavy elements, and the way The Offering hits is like,
Oh, they threw a lot
Boom.
into that. That's a great follow up.
yeah,
And like even the variety in the entire album, from kind of like hard to soft, and then you have like the take aim, and
with that like head voice falsetto, like
Yeah.
singing all the way through. That's so pretty.
yeah, they huge variety in this album to kind of really get grasps of what they're about. Because
I'm
I mean,
pulling up
take
Take
aim's a
Aim right
top
now.
tier song too.
Oh, is that really?
What was that?
That's interesting. So, I just opened up on Genius. The lyrics for Take Aim specifically, because there are some bangers in there. But the actual like cover art for it, I don't know if that's how it's always been, but it looks very oddly similar to the Even in Arcadia stuff. a little
I mean,
bit in
they're
that formation.
probably
But it's also
following that trend.
it looks like the logo a bit too. But I mean, just
The ending of Take Aim is also just fantastic
yeah,
when he comes back in. But the way he like kind of correlates the thoughts of love with almost like this like warring mentality. I mean, that's kind of like the whole theme of them is like how love is war, but
yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. Because
love is a battlefield.
they they have a lot of representation throughout all their stuff of weaponry and all that, and I've always been so interested in what a lot of it truly connects to, and I think that's a part of it. But I do wonder too if there are some giant outlook of everything that we just haven't seen yet and we haven't gotten to yet that they're trying to allude to as well, like in terms of specific weaponry. Like, not to jump the gun too much, but I saw Gethsemane's album art, and it's the best one out of anything they've ever done. It is so gorgeous. But
I don't know if I saw that yet.
Dude, it is beautiful. It's really cool. But they are really good at giving us subliminal messaging, but also making it so it's stuff you can find out, which I think is cool. And that's just carried along throughout all these years. But to be clear, too, we both started out, like I think most people at this point would take me back to Eden.
Yeah.
Cause,
we're bandwagoners.
We're
sorry.
bandwagoners. Because around my birthday, which is in January, the year the album was coming out, I think it was Chokehold was the first single they put out, and I heard that. And I was never like into like the djenty guitar stuff too much, but I listened to that and I was like, wow, that's weird. I love this. It like kind of caught me right away. And I fell into like the really early stuff even before the album came out, like Fields of Elation really caught me and stuff like that. And then the album came out and I've been a crackhead ever since when it comes to their music.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, even like going back to Sundowning, like Dark Signs is one of my all-time favorites too. I think that still sits in such high regard for me in terms of like the sonic formula they created for that, where it's just so appeasing. Like, oh my god, it's just everything about that song hits. That to me, if I was to point to out of their entire discography a song and be like, what's the most Sleep Token song? That would be one of the top three I'd point to. I think I think it emanates everything they are about, from lyrics, from song structure to, I mean, just heavy driven guitar, like chorus and stuff later in the song.
And you get that little R&B with it too.
Yeah, so good. I love Gods too. Gods was one that I'm assuming like probably a pretty good amount of people that don't listen to heavier shit. It took me like 1 or 2 listens, but then I like got super enthralled with it because, I mean, the lyrics in that specifically, when he's screaming, are fucking insane. Like, I see the gods avert their gaze from me. My fucking form is but a wreck beneath them. Just like,
I know.
Oh my god,
it's just crazy. I love it.
And I feel like understanding who 2 is in terms of like the drummer, not the actual person, the drummer. Like I feel like a lot of these songs later in the first album, like that starts. Higher too. We can't not mention Higher.
Oh,
when it
Higher!
comes to that.
I love his little.
So insane.
Yeah.
Maybe his best drumming song ever, which is not a knock on any of the other stuff. I think the phrasing and everything in that song is gorgeous. Another one of my favorites ever. But no, Gods is so cool. I love everything about it. I like the break. There was some really, really cool piano stuff. Like, I think it was just arpeggiated chords and all that were really amazing during the break. And how it just kind of wraps around to being heavy again. Sugar is...
When Sugar comes back in, that's when I just start jamming.
Yeah, that's definitely a bop.
Oh, I do love Say That You Will, too.
Great song. Drag Me Under is beautiful as well.
Oh, my God. That one's just so... Drag Me Under is just beautiful.
Yeah,
I just love the sound to it. It's almost peaceful in a way, but also not. But it's just you feel like you're kind of just laying on the ground looking up at the sky, in my opinion, just the way it kind of
it's the imagery,
perceived,
man.
Yeah.
That's a big thing throughout their whole discography. They do such a great job of demonstrating really great imagery with all their music. Like, I think one of Vessel's superpowers is being able to articulate exactly like what he's trying to say, but in a different way than most people. Like instead of being very blunt on the nose about it, he can kind of go roundabout, but it be apparent what he's talking about. And that's kind of where Bloodsport fits that perfectly to close out the entire album, where it's, I mean, you could take any lyric from that song from the chorus, and it's basically just another way of saying, like, oh, like, I loved you, and I do love you, but, like, this sucks. This hurts. Like, it's terrible for me.
And he also, like, he went all out singing that song, too. Like,
He did, yeah.
When he comes in with that pre-chorus into the chorus, and just the end somewhere part is just, it's almost,
Oh, yeah. When he gets, like, that raspy sound,
yeah, but it's like,
very, like,
I had this thought. It's like the way he sings, his voice is almost like how you would imagine pain and suffering to sound like if it had sound. I think because of the
that's
way
fucking metal, dude. I like that.
Well,
Yeah, no, I agree.
I
think it's a
think
good way to put it.
you just feel it when he sings his words. You're just like, well, fuck me, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that I think, not that people have to hyper empathize with that to enjoy the music. I really don't think you have to, but I think there is that layer of skin you basically have to break through with this band where I think the people who really, really love them, not to say that it's everybody to, like, you know, put out a blanket statement, but people who have gone through the shit similarly in relationships and stuff that seemingly he has, really resonate with this music, and they, you know, a lot of people, you know, can cry to it, whatever. You could jam to it, and I think that's just what this album provides. I think you could argue with me it's their most versatile album, and it's crazy because it's their first, and maybe that's why, because, you know, you could say, I've seen some people say they're still finding their sound, you know, like, but dude, there's a lot of music on this album that's just tried and true to the formula.
Well, I think at that point too, because I'm assuming that they had the plan for these 3 albums, right?
Yeah, like it was storyboarded almost.
So this is probably how they storyboarded it, right? So you have Sundowning is supposed to be your introduction to, I don't know the right word, the obsession with sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of how it's affecting him. And then you move on to Tomb, which is supposed to be more of him taking back power throughout the most of the endeavor, but it's still a push-pull kind of thing. And then you have Euclid, which is like the flourishing of, like, kind of moving past it, but it still ails you. So that's probably intentional why it, Sundowning is so kind of like not all over the place, but you have a lot of elements going on, because beginning stages of that, there's a lot of elements going on. It's like good days, bad days, and you just kind of fluctuate between them.
Definitely. No, and I think that's to, like, wrap up Sundowning a little bit, to put a bow on it. I mean, just the name of the album. I mean, a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I'll say it, a lot of people will name an album just like after a song, like there will be a title track, like they did with their last 2 albums, but they kind of gave the imagery and understanding of the actual album name after you finish listening to it, about how it's you know, how he's losing himself.
Yeah, because I forget the actual term for Sundowning, or what it means, but if I remember correctly, the essence of it is essentially once the day starts reaching its end is when you start kind of getting in this more depressive state.
I think it was somewhere in that realm. I almost think it like
or like it was like confusion
or something.
Yeah, we gotta pull this up real quick. Stand by, elevator music.
A phenomenon where people with dementia or other cognitive impairments experienced increased confusion, agitation, and other behavioral changes in the late afternoon or evening hours. Which, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, that's what makes The Night Does Not Belong to God just have that much more meaning when you listen to it too. It's almost like when the lights turn low. It's like
the night
I
comes
lose
down.
myself.
What is it? The night comes down like heaven or whatever.
Yeah, and it, dude. Oh, what a fucking song! Great lyrics, just great everything. They do such a good job of just connecting dots with everything. Nothing is left unturned. Even though, I've watched every single Riker Road Reaction, which shout out to them. They are amazing reactors for Sleep Token stuff, and I'm sure other stuff too. I gotta watch it, but they always say after every song, like, I got some answers, but now I have even more questions. And that's just what this band, it's constantly like leading you on to like the next thing. And I think it's part of why they're so addictive. Like, and again, if you don't care about like the story of it all and you just like the music, that might not hit for you, but that's fine. Like, enjoy the music. But like getting even a slight understanding of what's going on here just adds this layer of, oh my god, like it's just such a beautiful story that's horrifying.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we don't want to like truly, we're not ranking these based off the deluxe edition. I just want to give a shout out to the deluxe edition
So
because the covers they have, outstanding. Like you have I Want to Dance with Somebody is actually crazy. I actually learned that song because I listened to it so much from Sleep Token.
Brought it up before. I danced to it at first dance at my wedding was that because my wife was lucky enough to let me do that. And she likes Sleep Token too, but I'm obviously a crack addict, like I said. So that was a really special moment for me for
and
that
then
song.
and then the Bloodsport with him and just the piano.
Brutal, man.
Yeah,
Oh god, that's like arguably the most one of the most gut wrenching songs. I mean, ever.
Yeah, because he has to put so much more into his voice for that, and I was just like, Jesus.
No, it hurt.
But that absolutely fantastic. That was like the greatest like intro to an album. I know we mentioned that. It was just so powerful. The build up was just unbelievable.
It was almost like palpable. Like you can that song was such a force, but in not being like heavy, like or even like an emotional wave. That song, like it just feels like this tangible thing that you can hold in your hands, like. And I think that's something really special in music. I think there's very few songs that can do that. And I don't think every Sleep Token song is like that, but I do think they have a few, and I think it's why they're one of my favorite bands. I mean, some of their music, it almost feels like too real. And that song, for me personally, has that feeling. Like I said, there's a couple that actually resonate with me beyond like just singing the lyrics in my head.
Well, I think... we need to stop talking about this because we'll get lost in talking about this, but it almost feels like the intro to that song just is pulling you into the story. Like, you're just out here, and then it pulls you in, almost like sucks you into the world.
But I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I think it represents, like, you almost get that feeling of, like, sundowning in that sense with that. For me, when I hear that, it's almost like I'm getting dragged under. Which I also like the touch, see, of Drag Me Under being like, it's kind of helping lead right into This Place Will Become Your Tomb, which I think now, Sundowning, just quick review, fucking insanely amazing. I got nothing else to say about it. No skips. Every
10 out of 10, amazing.
Love that song, or album.
No, it's fantastic.
And also, again, the cover art thing, maybe I just haven't looked at it prior, but I have looked at This Place Will Become Your Tombs with all the different fish and stuff. Again, we're not super well versed in all that stuff. We don't. Not that we don't. Well, we don't.
But we
dig
also
super deep into a lot of that stuff. We like to let the people who are good at it listen. You guys, great detectives.
Listen.
I'll be here for the synopsis, man.
Don't bring me into an escape room because we ain't leaving.
Yeah. Listen, there's a bed. I can get comfy. Maybe throw a little TV on, a couple snacks.
I'm there to support you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to let you guys have this.
Listen, some people just have to play support when the time is right, you know? I can't always be tank, but sometimes you just got to heal.
And I've never played a hero shooter, which brings us to Tomb. So, Tomb. Atlantic is another crazy intro.
The piano.
I think...
Dude.
I do think that's probably the most beautiful piano thing Vessel's written. I don't know if it's a hot take. I mean, dude, that melody is just so enthralling.
It's ethereal.
Oh, yeah, it is.
That whole song is ethereal. You feel like you're floating in space, essentially, for that song. It just feels ethereal, and I think, the essence of wasn't that song trying to paint... They were in the hospital, essentially. Like, I woke up surrounded, eyes like frozen planets, just orbiting the vacuum I am. I think that's what really pulls you into the, like, a floating in space, ethereal, almost, what's the Cthulhu guy?
Cthulhu?
Well, no, but, like, the creator. Lovecraft. Like I almost picture like a Lovecraftian images when I
Okay.
that second verse comes in, because it doesn't. It's not like concrete. It's almost like because he's doing more of an imagery thing here.
Mm.
It's just like a space with this Lovecraftian like way of seeing people. I would
No, yeah,
say.
and it's really cool. It's entering that whole sci-fi thing where it's pretty obvious they're nerds, right? Like the whole band, like the way they kind of fuse these different elements of other things, and like obviously we'll get to even in Arcadia, but like the whole like Legend of Zelda thing. Um, but no, to stay on topic here with Atlantic, to piggyback off what you said, they reference, and they did it in Dark Signs too. There's a lot of references to some kind of car accident. I don't know if that's just a way he likes to imagine things, or if that's something that really happened. Waking up in a hospital bed, or like being in the hospital, all that kind of stuff. Like there are certain themes that have been reoccurring, which is their thing. They like to, every like they use talking about like the garden, which seems to be like his headspace in general when he talks about it. There's a lot of things that are reoccurring, and it's to help add to the story, to help things make sense. And I think Atlantic definitely did that, and I think this is really what helped push the actual narrative into that second phase of like where everybody. I mean, we didn't listen to it at the time, but like I remember listening to this for the first time and reading the lyrics and being like, "What the hell? Like, what is
It
going
was
on?"
yeah, it was crazy. It
Like,
really was just crazy at how they
because it almost sounds
present it.
too surreal to like not be a story for this just to be like a one-off thing of just to be like, oh yeah, this is like a narrative in this one song, and then there's a whole new narrative in this next song. Like, no, this feels like a one little piece to a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Oh, and you know what I'm like kind of processing right now, even
Mm.
though I've heard it as the outro is "Don't Wake Me Up."
Yeah.
So I guess that leans more like my ethereal dream. I probably shouldn't say space because it's very obvious that he's talking about more of like a water. So maybe instead of space, I meant more of just kind of like floating arbitrarily throughout something. So
Yeah.
just like if you were just in like the deep ocean and you have no control of yourself, you're just kind of like wherever it takes you. And
And
that was the first song.
that was the first song. Tomb is so interesting for me. I mean, I think, honestly, I'll say this on the front. I think their strongest run of songs, like out of their entire discography, is on this album. I genuinely think from "The Love You Want" to "Missing Limbs" is like, and don't get me wrong, I love like that, but "The Love You Want" to "Missing Limbs" is outrageous. Like we're talking like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Lyrically,
Like,
the love you want
insane.
just.
So and
This is gonna be hard.
I know Hypnosis is really good too.
I love that when they have the whole come in together and they have the overlap.
Oh yeah,
That
so
that
money.
that
The
was also
layering in their music. So
I know I
fucking,
love that,
oof.
and they did that in the concert too that we saw.
Yes. Oh
that
my god.
that was like the big selling point for that song. I loved it before, but I'm like, wow, they actually crushed this live.
They're really, really, really strong live. That's another really cool thing about the band. I know it's so hard to get tickets because how expensive they are, but if you have the chance to go, you should try because we're going to see him again in September with some other people. But man, like I was blown away. I've been to a pretty decent amount of concerts, and that blew me away. That was the best show I've ever been to. I couldn't believe I didn't think they'd pull off half the stuff they could. I really didn't, and they fucking annihilated it. It was amazing.
Yeah,
So-
that was great experience.
So, and I will loop this into even in Arcadia too. A lot of elements of Tomb, I find like a lot of the songs are referenced and reused, and even in Arcadia, and I think there's a purpose for that, and we'll get to that. But mine being 3, which is why I talk about it. Mine is just like that Imagine Dragons sound. I think people talk about a little bit, like the
It's
like
still so good.
no,
I
I
love
genuinely
it.
enjoy it. I'm not a big Imagine Dragons guy or whatever. I do think it's a little bogus, like just kind of trying to, stoop them down to that level in a way with how musically creative they are. But mine is like beautiful, man. It is like heart wrenching. It's everything you would expect, but it has like a big bombastic chorus. It's cool. Every time that drops, it sounds like someone's
Yeah,
lighting up
when
an
the,
IED.
when the when the chorus comes up, it almost feels theatrical.
It does. It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
But I really don't have too much more to say about Mine. I do love Mine quite a lot. That's one I got addicted to for a little bit, and I just played on
Well, it
repeat.
goes back into the car thing because it said you and I are a crashing course,
Mhm.
driven by a holy force.
Boom. And yeah, that's a very easy song to sing too. Like
It's
when-
probably one of their more digestible songs too.
yeah.
Like if you wanted to
definitely
just
palatable.
show someone Sleep Token without getting too crazy, you probably show them like Mine from, or at least from this album. You could show them Mine, and like maybe I would say like Alkaline, because that kind of gives you the vibe
Yeah.
of them,
Alkaline's so sick too.
right? So good.
I'm gonna let Frankie join us because he's
Oh.
wanting.
Oh, I'll sound the trumpets. Come here. Frank, say hello.
That's Frank. Good boy. So now we're on to Like That. I won't lie. So Like That for me, when I first listened to this album, was not one of my favorites. Like, I kind of listened to it and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. And it's one of those that just with time, I think, it just started to hit harder and harder. And then, oh my God, I'm like, yeah, it was live.
Yeah, they did sing it.
Dude, I think that was the moment for me where it kind of like punched me in the face, and I was like, "Whoa, that was sick!" Like the beat in that song just hits so hard, like it almost. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. It just, I don't know. There's something about it that just like punches me in the face a bit now when I listen to it. Like, and I think it's just because that live performance was so money.
Well, they do so well, and that's why like it's hard to remain like impartial in the opinion of it when we've seen some of it live,
Right.
and how well they kind of do a little switch ups in the song, and it just makes it that much better. Like especially like I'm gonna revert slightly back when they introed with "The Night Does Not Belong to God," and like towards the end, he started just fluctuating his voice when he was singing to emphasize the different like words. It was incredible. So it's kind of hard to be like, well, we saw this song live and it was awesome. Like this was beautiful. So it's like trying to put songs that we haven't heard live, compare them to a live song is very hard.
Yeah, that's why like Missing Limbs for me. Not that we're gonna jump right to it. It didn't get ruined for me. I can't say that. That's not the right way to say it. But I'm just using that right now. Hearing him do that live was like transcendent. And now every time I listen to it, it's still so gorgeous, the studio recording, but the live version, I was just like,
They need to put that out.
my soul was just out of my body, man. I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is an artist that has perfected their craft seemingly. They've done a really, really great job.
Oh yeah.
But let's jump back up to where we were.
The Love
The Love You Want was one of the coolest, I think, overall structured songs that they got. I love the little like jazzy almost break that they do. I think it's the second verse. I'm actually
Are you
I haven't
talking
listened to it
about
in a while.
Are you talking about like it seems your heart is
Yeah,
locked
yeah,
up, but
that-
I still get the combination wrong?
That whole second verse is just so money. I will say still to this day, I think Tomb has their strongest lyrical work in a couple of their songs. Like this
I
and
believe
High Water. Oh my god.
that and Atlantic too.
Atlantic, yeah, Atlantic is insane.
No, I believe that too. This is going to be so much harder than I thought, even though I knew it was going to be hard to put these in an order. Because now that I'm like looking at these and like,
Well, you're reliving it because
Yeah.
we've been so consumed with the new album. It's like I haven't really been listening to any of the other stuff as of late. When you go back and you kind of revisit, especially those feelings you get like looking back and actually like digesting the music for what it is. I mean, this journey that's been cultivated by them is just so like awe-inspiring. This whole thing, this feels like a Lord of the Rings walking. Like it's what's the joke? Is that the Hobbits where they just walk all the time? It's the journey.
yeah,
It almost feels like that, but instead of because obviously they can't do it, but it's like every time they stop, it's like a new thing that's happening. Like it just
Yeah.
feels like there's no rock that's not being overturned in this journey. Like every emotion that's being felt, whether it's pain, happiness, sadness, horniness. It's all there, man.
Yeah.
Listen, he can get a little freaky. It's fine. I mean, actually, I was reading someone posted a little like synopsis, or I guess, yeah, I would say, that saying this place will become your tomb expands the lore of the universe behind Sleep Token's imagery, leading the cult following of Vessel through mania and depression, navigating the obsessive relationships that their debut sets out. Which, that's perfectly said. I think that's exactly what this album is in a vacuum. It's just, it almost feels like you're reading the diary of an insane man.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hype.
No, I think that's where it's like the book they pushed out, and they have those little like stanzas of, I forget what he called himself. The director, I think it was, and he has the little like notes every time you flip through some of the pages, and it's just like his notes and thoughts, and that's really cool because it ties into like there's just this crazy man. Just telling his story.
But yeah, moving on with that. Fall for Me is the saddest music video of all time.
Yes.
Watch it if you haven't. That will break you from the inside.
And imagery in that song is also fantastic. They start right away in a city of ice. There are burning cathedrals.
Dead ass. That Fall for Me. That imagery is. We were just talking about it before the pod. Expedition 33 is like Atmosphere to a T to me. That's like what I imagine when I listen to that
You know
song.
what's funny? I almost picture the second DLC in Dark Souls 3, Ashes of Arendelle.
I think so.
Then you just see that church, like when you finally get through everything. That's almost what I picture in my mind. But that's because I'm more Dark Souls than Expedition 33 purely because I hate turn-based stuff. But I know we've talked about it, just like all of Sleep Token literally just feels like it is a Dark Souls thing.
Especially with even in Arcadia with all the glitches in the music videos with the different like nights and stuff that they're showing. There's definitely, I think that I don't know if I'd call it an homage to it, but I definitely think there's validity to that. So because I mean, it just seems like that. I'm just wondering if the next album will get some Elden Ring stuff in there for Night Rain. But
yeah,
what we got.
God,
this one's taking a long time,
yeah,
which is good. I think this album deserves to be broken down this way. Not that Sundowning didn't. It's just this felt like the true step they needed to take in the direction for their art to really keep this train going. And I think it's part of what helped their meteoric rise for Take Me Back to Eden. Going back to listen to it, but yeah, Alkaline is sick, man. I mean, just looking at it, because I'm just on Genius just to pull up lyrics and stuff. It has pretty substantially more views as a page than
looks like
any
it's
other song.
Double than
which is crazy.
The second highest.
Mostly because that chorus is just outrageous, to be honest. It's like they knew they cooked with that. The chorus is the way it flows, the lyricism, again, the imagery, all that stuff. It's just so good.
Well, yeah, in the intro itself, you have that kind of like techno kind of just like the essentially like beeps.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the right word is for that. You would know the word better. I'm a simpleton, okay? I'm a simpleton.
Simple kind of down.
And then they just come in just so heavy with the
so good.
Right after that first chorus where it's almost monotoned but not too monotoned. Or maybe monotone is the right word. There's just not a lot going on with the first chorus, and then when they come in the second verse and they really kick it up, and then it just gets crazy from there. But this was the chorus itself.
So good, man.
I think that goes back to like not a push and pull, but maybe it is.
It's more like a call and response for himself.
Yeah. Because it's the back and forth with what he's going on.
It's the Jekyll and Hyde, I reference that so much when I talk about Sleep Token because that's what this is. Like, it's almost not. He's not like bipolar or anything. I don't think it's just you have these conflicting emotions and you just don't know what to do because it's like, man, I really love this person, but they're really bad for me. But I love them so much that I want to make it work. But I know that'll end up ultimately like killing me in the end. And it's kind of like the Jekyll and Hyde, even though it's not an exact 1-to-1. That's kind of just what I always equate it to. But again, I'm looking here now. I haven't looked at these lyrics in a long time. But just the mentioning of holy water, heaven and hell. Um, a large theme of like I wouldn't say direct Catholicism or Christianity or anything like that, but I mean we see it even in Arcadia with Gethsemane. Like that, there's definite references to gospel music, I think, as well in their music, which is part of what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that music, even if you don't, fuck with religion like that or anything, uh, the music, the hymns, all that stuff, it's so powerful, and the elements they add into the music, it just creates another layer. It's
Gospel
just
metal.
it in the gayest way possible. Their music is a bit of a rainbow when it comes to like there's a different color for each different avenue that each song takes. It like you can do that for like drumming, I mean bass, guitar, like all these tracks, I mean they all even if they do similar things, it's always like a different rainbow I feel like in a lot of their songs.
Yeah.
So it's really really cool. But no, Alkaline definitely is a great representation of that. Um but I'll be honest, I'll throw a hot take out there. I love that song. I don't know if it's top 3 on this album for me. I'm looking at it right now.
I'm trying to
Maybe
think,
not even
too.
top 4 or 5. And that's just because I think
I
this
know.
song has a lot
I
of
don't
really
even.
strong
I don't
songs.
think Alkaline made my top 20. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it did.
I can't remember if mine did either.
I think it. I think I had mine as a honorable mention, which is crazy to think about because that song is just. It's so much fun to listen to and sing along to.
Oh yeah. I'm
But
gonna let you
most of
take
these are.
Distraction and Descending real quick because I just want to make sure that's still recording.
Oh, you want me to? I could do elevator music. Do, 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 do. Well, I would say as far as distraction goes, are we still good? Are we still Gucci?
Oh, yeah. 47 minutes on there.
Distraction, which was also like appears to be the least viewed song on this.
Surprising.
Well, I think it's
Oh yeah, George Lever did do the second album. I said that right.
so that was I think the pacing is it's a lot slower.
Well, yeah, and there's not a lot of words to it. There's not too much to break down.
It's definitely probably one of their more simple songs, but I think it's just more so to
deliver the point.
Yeah.
We're kind of like, yeah.
And sometimes people don't like being delivered the point.
Yeah, it's just definitely one of the more on the nose songs for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think it's one of my top tier songs. Doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just on the lower end of things.
I do think in the context of the album, because I'm a big whenever I listen to Sleep Token too, like specifically, I love listening to the song. If I'm in the mood to listen to a song, I mean I won't do this every time, but a lot of the time I'll actually just pull through the whole album if I'm driving somewhere or something to get to that song. So the message, like in the narrative, hits me even a little bit harder. And I think Distraction is like I think that's part of why I say that the song rung from The Love You Want to Missing Limbs is so powerful because I think it just slides in there so perfectly. Again, it's one of those pieces in the puzzle. By itself, it's just like, it's like, okay, this is a cool song. There's not really too much to it. But in the middle of like that run, oh my God, man. It just, whew.
Yeah, no, because it's like reading a book.
Yeah.
You don't start in the middle, then go to the beginning, and then go to the end. Just like you don't start from the end and work backwards.
And there's nothing wrong if you do that.
No,
you're just a little weird if you're reading books like that.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
talking to you, person who does that.
Yeah,
fuck
weirdo.
You.
It's just like why? Just read it normal or not at all. You know?
Indeed.com. Look it up. Anyway, we're at Descending now. And Descending is brutal, man.
Oh, that is too.
That's a brutal fucking song.
God.
I really like. I don't even know what to.
I'm trying to find the right words for this, because it almost like musically it was kind of a bop, just instrumentally, because it's like you come crawling back to me, but I'm already underground on the ground.
You come crawling back to me, but I'm already on the ground, and all we know that talk is cheap. So come on and save me now. What really sticks out to me, there's two things, and they're basically back to back, is verse 2, the end of it. My love withers and chokes in perfect awe. That has me fucking ruined on the inside.
There's no need to hurt us like this.
And the pre-chorus, just the, why don't you just say what you wanted to say for once? It's like, bro.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to do the, which song was it? In the new album, It might be Look to Windward. He said something, he got caught up in trying to be the person for you that essentially didn't mind the parlor games.
Yeah, I do believe that is Windward. Yeah.
I think that's kind of
Yeah.
a
No,
pull to that. Sorry,
see
that
what
just came to my head. I wanted to say it now before I forgot it. Because again, I
that's
think
a really good pull. That's
I-
what I'm saying, dude. That album, I feel like it's so
I think
directly involved with Tomb. Like, oh my god.
well, yeah, I think it just
so
pulled
many
back
callbacks.
so much stuff.
That's why I have a hot take for that later. We'll get there. But no, anyway, fucking amazing song. Just beautiful. Just heart wrenching. Nothing that we haven't heard before in terms of that, but just gorgeous.
Oh no,
And then we get to
Telomeres.
Telomeres is fucking incredible. That's an incredible, incredible song.
That was a beautiful song. That really was.
Very Deftonesy. Like they wear that influence for the song very heavily on that, and it's really cool. Instrumentally, it's amazing. I love that we get a little tiny guitar solo, and it fits so beautifully.
It was
really
a little
cool.
groovy too, you know.
Yep, it had a little like bluesiness to it. It was just the atmosphere that's created in this song. Like the soundscape is just like immaculate. Funny enough, it feels like you're looking at like an eclipse watching it to me. Like it feels like the world's just getting darker, even though it's like arguably the most like lovely song.
I kind of picture a dance. Like this song feels like a dance.
And that's why again, I'm going to keep doing this cuz oh god, why am I blanking on the new album?
Which one?
Fingers
Provider? That
Foxtrot. Obviously it's like a ball dance. That's what it means. He's literally talking about like fingers like dancing on the skin.
No.
Which I'm like, that's,
no.
You see what yeah, like, oh dude. And that's just what Telomeres, like I could totally see that too. It's just
it's really just
also just one of his best vocal performances for the chorus too. It's so different than anything else. But it's just so haunting. It's like,
yes.
Oh my god.
Because what he keeps fluctuating the entirety. He just sings, he gets high, comes back low, and then comes back up. It's beautiful. And I think that does really good to emphasize certain words too. Because I think when he does farthest, then he goes to reaches, he gets a little high, and then he goes, I think where the light bend, and he goes and wraps beneath, and he gets real high again. Oh.
Also like the future. That shit goes hard. It's a very like hypnotizing song, funny enough, with hypnosis on this album.
Yeah.
And I think that was the goal of that song, is to be like being caught in this love hypnosis, which is cool. High Water makes me want to unalive. God, my favorite fucking words they've ever said, the second verse.
Yeah, this is crazy. I love the drums in this song too.
Oh yeah. When
He
the
went
mouth of
crazy.
infinity buries its teeth in me, I'll smile through the agony for you.
For
and I
you.
know you still bear the weight of your own existence, and you'll never bear the weight of two. That shit goes fucking nuts. God damn. Even the chorus is insane too. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and read through all the lyrics. It's just, it's angsty, but it's delivered in such a way where it's just like, you just want to lay down. You just don't want to deal with anything. Like, it just, the world feels cloudy.
Besides air drumming along, that when he comes in to start drumming, that's what really like is a big selling point to that song for me.
Yeah,
because he just goes
really great.
crazy. Besides the fact that the song itself is just gut wrenching. I mean, there's not much to say because of like how on the nose you can describe it.
I will say, it is one of those songs. I personally love it. I do think this is one of those songs that if you don't care about the story and the lyricism in it, and you kind of just want like the vibe of it, I don't know if this would be my first choice to show to a lot of people, just because how emotionally impactful it is. Even though it is great, I love instrumentally how it sits, but I do think this is a song a lot of people that love it or like they're just in too deep with this.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair, because trying to picture the sounds of everything until it starts getting real heavy.
Yeah.
it doesn't seem palatable off rip. I think you need to have
You
like
need context for it
yeah.
for sure. But it's just such an emotionally gorgeously horrible song.
Yes.
Horrible in the sense of just like, oh my god, what the hell?
No, that
And
beautiful.
Missing Limbs closing it out.
The Ed Sheeran song.
The Ed Sheeran song. That's how we described it the first time we fucking
I
heard
was
it.
like, is this Ed
Is
Sheeran?
it literally Ed Sheeran?
Please just rip us. I know that's the wrong thing to say.
I kind of want them to do another track like this at some point, and just the sense of like, I love the simplicity of just an acoustic guitar with him singing, because man, he in this song it really fly, like he lets it fly. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful. That's why I'm saying live when he did it, it was like,
Well, I almost preferred it with that electric guitar. I think it had
I don't hate that. Yeah, I
the
mean,
guitar stood out a lot more, and so like the notes they sell the notes themselves when he played them.
they resonate a lot more.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it felt like a burning isn't the right word, but it was like maybe it is. It was like, or they when he would hit the certain notes, because he wasn't really hammering it down. He just selected certain notes to play a little louder.
Oh yeah,
And that's what kind of burnt in your ears, and I think that added a level to the song that you don't normally get listening to it on the track.
and in that plucking pattern too, and that's part of it, like mixing and stuff too. Like where he's basically doing like, I think it's thumb, index, thumb, and then I think bottom two. It might be like ring pinky. I can't remember. I know how to play it. I just can't put it together in my head right now. But like when he does that pluck at the bottom, like the high end for the true melody, instead of following the bass line, I definitely heard that live as well, because it's like he is trying to, and he might not be doing it with pure intention. It could just be the fact that that's just how live he plays it, and it just sounds
works.
good that way. But like, I think those leading tones for the melody when he plays it, the way they kind of homogenize with his singing in that song, it just it's transcendent. It's like evangelical, I'll even call it.
No,
It's very close to like that gospel-y sound that we were kind of talking about. Like even I know we didn't really touch on it in Sundining, but like Levitate, it very much, that is like the most gospel-y sounding thing they've ever written. Well, it's second, but as a song in its entirety, it is. This kind of follows in that for me, not in terms of sound, but like demonstrating message in like this big, open, beautiful way, and kind of like a more standard way. Even though Levitate at the end has that like big like jam session,
yeah.
Missing Limbs doesn't, but it's just put in a way where people could be like, oh, this is something I've kind of heard before, in terms of like how the song is structured. Like we've all heard acoustic songs.
Yeah.
You know, we've all heard piano ballads and stuff. Not that they don't have a bunch of stuff like that, but I do think the way they layer stuff with like the random heavy metal djenty guitars and stuff like that, or like the trap beats, it's like, it's just cool. But
yeah.
to wrap up Tomb, I don't know.
Lyrical masterpiece.
It's a lyrical masterpiece. I don't know if I can say it's the saddest album, but I want to right now. But I have to truly dive into the next two. But it might be. Because I think it is. I'll stand on it. I think it is. I don't think they have their saddest song on here. We'll get to that. But I think overall, this song or this album just feels like he's so like down into the ocean.
Yeah.
And he's drowning in this, and it's that mania of like him thinking, no, I can make this work, but it's more so like the opposite side winning until, honestly, I think the very end, like, because we kind of, Missing Limbs, I feel like, does allude to him talking back a little bit to Sleep, if you want to really get into the lore of it, of him really being like, hey, like, what the fuck, like, why is this happening? Because, like, I feel like in High Water and Telomeres, he's still like, even though High Water's really sad, Telomeres is more like, no, we can do this. Like, we can make this work and all
like,
that.
yeah, let the tides carry you back to me or something.
Yeah.
I forget the actual line, so I'm going to get fried for that. I apologize.
But, like, just the And also another huge thematic thing I think that's not talked about is self-love in throughout these their music as well, because I think that's something that's lost within the whole idea of who Sleep is. I do think a lot of this music too, personally, and it's how I relate to it, is a lot of it is about self-love. And it's not so much him learning how to love himself, it's him dealing with the fact that he feels like he should, but he can't at times because of this, as a product of this narcissist, which that's what a narcissist does. It sucks the love out of your life a lot of the time, that which are just terrible people. So that battle is something I think that's not talked about enough, and I think it should be talked about a lot more. And I think that demonstrates way more aggressively in the fourth album. But for me,
Yeah.
that's what I'll say about Tomb.
No, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you. I think this is their saddest album.
Yeah,
However, I'm gonna I'm gonna say that emotional and sad are gonna be different words here
definitely.
because I think there's a different album that pulls a lot more emotion out of myself, at least.
Sure.
So, although this one's super sad, I get more emotion pulled from a different one.
So that'll wrap up Tomb. We're gonna hop on to Taking Back to Eden, the first one we got into, and just looking, it's insane. Just talk about the actual band itself as a band for a second. The blow up they had from this album was like utterly insane. It was cool to like hop on when it first came out and listen to it, because I remember I was at work and I just listened to the album track one to the end, and I just remember like falling deeper and deeper into this emotional pit to the point where when I heard Euclid for the first time, I wasn't like sobbing, but I was like legit. I had tears streaming down my face while I was at work.
Oh yeah,
And I was like, music doesn't usually do this to me, and I listen to so much music and so much different music. This album specifically, I felt like, and maybe it's just the timing of it, because I mean, we were just turning like 26. Our brains finally finished developing and stuff, but I feel like it unlocked something in my brain, like this new wave of emotion, not of like sadness and stuff, but almost empathy and understanding, and even stupid shit like wanting to try new things. Because that's kind of what this band in its totality has done for me. I'm obsessed with trying to. Maybe it's me chasing the dragon for finding new music because I'm waiting for more stuff like this to hit me. But I keep listening to new albums. I keep trying new things. And I think this has been a huge part of it. Because I have been, even though I listen to a lot of stuff, it was the same stuff in the music realm. But now I'm a lot more like open to a bunch of different stuff like that. And I think that's really cool. So this album was very formative to me as a person. And I think that's part of why I attach myself to this band a lot more than any other artist that I have listened to. Even though, I mean, I have so many other artists that like I don't obsess over, but their music just, it rings to me. I love it. It inspired me, like being a musician growing up and stuff. This album's just, it's really, really, really great.
no, it definitely is. And the one thing, I guess my biggest regret in life right now, because it's my biggest regret, is not being able to listen to them when they first came out. And not that
yeah.
because you know, I'm gonna compare this to me watching The Lord of the Rings as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So I got to take in The Fellowship of the Ring, right? And that just, it blew my mind. I loved that movie. But then I had to wait for the second movie. So I just kept rewatching the first one and taking it all in. I loved every second of it. Then the second one came out. And then I was just like, I love this movie. So now I'm watching the second one, waiting for the third. So I'm watching the first and the second. I'm getting pulled into this world so much more now because I just keep getting lost in it over and over again. And then the third one comes out, and then it's just this wave of emotions at the end because it concluded and it was beautiful. And I think that's something like we've missed with this. Because I think because you wound up binge watching all three movies because they're fantastic movies, but I think I
It's
haven't.
not the same. It's
The emotional
total
pull.
different.
It's like
Yeah.
the weight makes it more, and you have more time to sit with these albums, and really take them in and digest them. So I think that made this album, like for the people that like were listening to them at the beginning, I feel like this album itself, being more of this conclusive album, really pulled a lot more to them, which I'm very jealous of. Because I assume it's like this similar pull to me when I finally watched Return of the King in theaters as a kid. and I was just like, oh, I'm crying. Like, why am I crying? It's just like it was just so beautiful.
No, the gravity of it all for sure. There's like there's this pull to it.
Like,
Whenever you have something like that, like I'm trying to think of something like that I had with that. Because I don't think I've had anything musically like that. Because I just end up finding stuff later. I never, like I said, I never actively seeked new music. The way I heard about Sleep Token was this pop. I haven't listened to their stuff in like a year and a half, where it was just like brain rot garbage. But they were all metalheads, and they brought up Sleep Token, how they're like, oh, it's this really cool band. I listened to them for a few years, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll try it. And ever since I've been addicted. But we should get into Taking Back to Eden.
We've
starting off with My First Love, Chokehold, which, like I was saying prior, had me in a chokehold when I first listened to it. Just the way it, the lyricism and everything, I never really heard anything like it. It almost was like, I remember first kind of equating it to like fantasy in the sense of like the world building.
Oh, yeah.
And all that, where I was like, I feel like they're trying to put me in an episode of a TV show, and they kind of do that, but it's not TV shows, it's fucking movies. Like,
yeah.
Every song is a movie. And I feel like these songs are just scores to them.
And they come off so strong with this song too, because it wasn't heavy. I'm trying to recall all the sounds right now. But it was just what is that? Technically, was that major? It was most of the song. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know if it would be major. I have to like look at the chords, but the melody of like the verses. Dun, 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 dun,
it almost felt like you're at sea, like rowing in the waves.
No, that's exactly. I totally feel the same way. I've actually had this thought about some of their songs. They're not sea shanties, but like I could see them being kind of that way.
You're on the boat, you're captaining the boat, and you just have chokehold going on. And you're just like, no, it's just. It's such a strong start because that's like the song itself feels like strength.
It does, yeah, and that's in terms of the narrative. It was like, and that's exactly what you're talking about. If you had like the context of everything and you kind of knew what was happening, I can't even imagine hearing that. I mean, obviously you have the revelation after like knowing things a bit more of like this relationship with the narcissist and stuff. How Chokehold was like, wait, he's kind of switching it a little bit. He's kind of like empowering himself through this narcissist and like trying to flip it a bit. And that's when the summoning kicks in, which is their biggest song. And it went fucking ballistic.
Well, yeah,
it was like, this song was like, blew me away. And I just, again, this is like by far their most metal song they've ever released, and it's funny because at the end they do the whole like funky, bluesy thing.
Yeah, but it's so good.
It's so good. The guitar tone is so good. Oh man, like the summoning is just. I think it's the closest thing we have to a modern metal classic. Like I think this is a song people will still be listening to 20 years from now pretty consistently. Yeah, it just has that vibe for me.
And because. I think also just pulling like I guess more so like to try to pull like a lore perspective kind of thing. I think the way he sings in most of these songs, like his tone, is like far more. What's the word? I guess that has more of a confidence to it when he's telling this like his story here, for most of them. And I think that then leading it with Chokehold and Summoning, there's like that confident, strong voice to the song.
And I do think the only pushback I have a little bit is I wonder how much, and I think George Lover did such an amazing job producing the first two albums. I love the production on them, honestly. I love the little like touches of things, whether it's like the basic little like reverb he would put on like Vessel's voice at certain parts, stuff like that, like different little plugins. Carl Brown taking Back to Eden, and even in Arcadia. And it could be moving record labels and stuff too, maybe having more access to more money. I definitely think that played a huge part in their sound becoming like more punchy. Like
Yeah.
even in like Gods, like it smacks you in the mouth. Some of these songs with how like in depth they hit, like the chords, like when they want something to punch you, they punch hard.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we're talking like Mike Tyson knockout.
Prime
Like,
Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah.
The thummoning. Anyway, yeah, summoning's amazing. I really don't have much else to say if you want to add anything else to it, because if not, we'll just
No,
move to
I mean, you
Granite.
pretty much punched it on those. It's like, they're one of their heaviest songs, and it's one of those songs that you just lead off just banging your head.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just come in so strong. It's such an awesome song to listen to.
It's
Great
a
gym song.
It is a great gym song. It's a song, funny enough, too, I don't think I have ever skipped, which is very interesting. Like, it doesn't matter what mood I'm in. If it comes on, it's one of the few. And it was pretty high up in my top 20. I just don't skip it. I've heard it a million times, but I don't, like, actively seek it all the time. I can't skip it. Because, again, we get a little guitar solo in here, too. And the guitar solo is fucking perfect.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just awesome. But anyway, Granite, this is like their this was the first time, obviously taking it in the first time before the other stuff, where you kind of get like their more hip hop sound, the R&B stuff, and you're like, whoa, okay, I guess we're doing this too. And by God, does it work? Granite is the if this album came out when I was in high school, I'd probably be jamming to Granite on the way into school every day and leaving school every day with
Dude,
my subwoofer in the back of my '01 Accord
Oh, dude.
bumping. And oh my God, dude, that song would go ballistic. But I do like the song a lot. It's really cool. Really cool lyricism in it as well.
Oh, doesn't Granite pulls back into that car crash idea, right?
Let me see. Yep, I was more than just a body in your passenger seat. Is there?
Oh, between the go back up. It's between the
Secondhand smoke and the glass on the street. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so again it keeps pulling back to this idea of a car crash. So again, you were saying it's something that literally happened, or a car crash could be a symbolism of something that I'm too stupid to figure out. That's what we have you guys for, Busters.
Yep. Let us know.
Yeah, we would love if you guys have theories about the lore and stuff, because like we try to follow it, and then I bought the book, and I looked into that.
I wanted to shout out because when we get to even in Arcadia, a couple really good comments on some of the reaction videos we posted that I wanted to bring up, because I love that people engaged with it and wanted to leave their thoughts and stuff, because there are a couple that we have like thought before, that I would just like to touch on as well, to give them their flowers for also being a part of this, because I think that's cool. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that. Anyway, but yeah, Granite, awesome song, banger. I mean, how do you not have fun listening to that? Super fun. Aqua Regia is like the most vibey thing they've ever put out.
It sounds mean, like a pissed off thing.
Yeah, it's like, it's very interesting. They it's just, again, it's that confidence, like it's building in him.
Putting down the roses, picking up the sword.
So far,
there's just this like, he doesn't sing it with rage, but he has that subtle tone of kind of just this like pissed off agitation that I love hearing throughout this song.
Oh, and there's a lot of callbacks in this song too to the other two albums, just like the I mean, kind of like the ballrooms thing, kind of like we were talking about before. A lot of mentions about gold, obviously blood and hearts and all that stuff. That's all normal, but specifically the alarm bells. I can't remember what
that Dark Signs.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Like there's a lot of like, just so much fluidity in their music, man. And this song, the chorus is one that, this is a song too. I never actively seek it out, truthfully. I do like it. It's not like my super favorite, but when you're singing that, if you know all the words, it's hard not to just get lost in the song when you're just singing it. Because, dude, the chorus, I think, is just so beautifully written.
Dude, I'm gonna do a crazy idea poll. I need you to try to picture this with me, because I'm kind of trying to hear it.
Okay, we're entering the theater of dreams.
The bridge for this song when he comes in. similar to the bridge in Democles. I think.
Yeah, because there's that. It's the big break with the big, like kind of like chord. I could definitely hear it.
I don't think the words really correlate with each other. I'm just hearing the sound.
No. Yeah, in terms of because they do that. That's like a thing. I think that's their influences kind of wearing off on that and song structure. But they do have like repetitive stuff like that. Like I think that's like one of those things where like at this point even in Arcadia, there are times when you just know it's like, okay, we're about to get the heavy shit, and then boom, we get the heavy shit. Like the shock value that Take Me Back to Eden had was I didn't expect that.
No.
That's part of what made the album so special for me was like I didn't know what I was getting into, so it was cool because then you have a song like Aqua Regia which doesn't do that, and it just has this really pretty like piano solo, and it's just cool. It's like vibey.
I also love the T-shirt that I have for Aqua Regia. It's also one of my favorite T-shirts. I own too many Sleep Token stuff.
No, not enough.
You're right, not enough.
Lower the price of merch.
Yeah, right.
Vor, I fucking love Vor. Oh my god.
It's such a
Holy
nice
shit.
heavy song. I'm not a big guy that's a fan of screaming. I like how they use it for their music because it's not.
Tasteful.
Yeah, they use it as a tool in their tool belt. They're like Batman. They have all they have all these like little things they could do, and they just pull it out when they feel like it's the right time to use it. And I feel like Vor is one of those examples where they just come in screaming. The chorus is beautiful.
So, dude, I to this day, and I'll stand on this, it's a top 3 chorus they've ever written. It is so good. Melodically, I think that's why. I'm sure there's other reasons. They repurposed that exact like formula for Dangerous and even in Arcadia. Vor and Dangerous are like the same fucking.
Oh yeah,
song.
I think you were telling me about that before. No, it's
so good.
It's such a well put together song.
Yeah, that one's money. I think a lot of people might skip it because of the screaming. That's one of those. I mean, man, you just look up the lyrics and just take it in, read what he's saying. You'll be like,
yeah, knowing
wow.
what he says when he screams is like one of the more important things. So that way you like,
and that goes for a lot of that music. That's why people like if you listen to like Lorna Shore and stuff. If you're not into it, like the goblin, like like gross sounding screams and shit, gurgle stuff. It's funny. You like look up the lyrics to those songs, and they're like the most brutally sad things you'll ever read. And it's like, bro, that's fucked up. But then you listen to the song, and it's like, like crazy shit. And Vor doesn't do that. It's very open, and I think that's why it's digestible, like these kind of songs, because it's screaming over that soundscape again.
Yeah.
It's like floating in like the stratosphere kind of vibe, but like with this, roaring voice of just emotion. But yeah, Vor is awesome. I love Vor. One of my favorites on the album for sure. Ascensionism, banger.
I love how you have the flow from beginning, and then it comes back together at the end. I mean, you have the whole like stanza where he's just kind of going at it in his like little rap way, which is I love a lot of the lyrics in that. Like I learned that just because I love jamming to this song.
It's so vibey, so vibey, man.
But then the pullback to the end when he comes back in and basically repeats, but changes up the words from the, I guess I don't know what that first stanza would technically be called, because he's like, I know what you want from me, and then he changes it to more so about him, and then the scream at the end with the "You make me wish I could disappear." Absolutely gut wrenching. I love that. But this one was a ride of a song for me, and then that song just they crushed it in concert. When he comes in at the end, I was like, no.
Yeah.
That was so cinematic.
No, that was an experience. That was such a treat.
And
this is one of the best songs they did.
That's
live.
what almost levels down the track song to me, because
fair.
I play this song and I'm just like, dude, I just want to hear him come in at the end. That's all I want to hear. It's
that payoff. I think a thing they learned how to do throughout these albums is they kind of understood like these songs do there is a payoff. Like there's there's a selling point almost to it, and it's not just the hook or the chorus. Like there's something, and that's kind of what he touches on in Caramel, where it's like this is what you've been waiting for when like they do the really heavy stuff at the end. But and not even just that, there's a payoff in some of these songs, and this is like arguably the biggest example of it.
Yeah.
Where like you listen to it for that part, not because the rest of the song is weaker or anything. It's just when you hit that climax of emotion and you get that volcanic eruption, it's just
dude,
like
it was absolutely wild, and that's why like that song is just so good.
yeah, it's money. It's definitely money. And I mean, again, synapses snap back in blissful anguish. Tell me you met me in past lives, past life. I'm not gonna read all the fucking lyrics, but I just synapses snap back in blissful anguish. God, I can't speak right now. That shit just fucking has me in a mind blender.
Or what was it? The start of it. Who encrypted your dark gospel in body language?
Yep.
I love that line too.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's essentially. I can't say it. I quit. I retire.
A benchatism.
A benchatism.
A dabba-dibum. All right, and then there's "Are You Really Okay?" Which that was like when I first listened to it, that was much more my style of music, so I gravitated to it really early on. Honestly, it's their saddest written song lyrically. It just is. It's heart-wrenching. It's awful. But if we're talking about the reality of it in comparison to the rest of the album, I wouldn't say it's like weak. It's just it almost has a tough time where it is living up to Ascensionism and the Apparition being like
The follow-up.
yeah. And it's a good song, like a good song. It's just man, some of the other songs in here are just like certified hood classic, and this song is just I think it's good. Like I used to listen to it a lot. Actually, on my Instagram a long time ago, I posted like me singing an acoustic version of it terribly, but because I just love it. But man, it's a great song. It's horribly sad.
It really is.
It's just
and like he uses a what is that? Almost like I don't know how to describe his voice when he starts singing, because it's like a deep pulled back voice.
It sounds like he's just trying to tell the story in this song. Like he's not trying to over embellish, and he does a little bit, but he only does it like a couple times outside of the chorus when you get the driving guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is very melancholy. Like it sounds like almost like you're sitting around a fire like with your buddy and he's just telling you about the shit that he went through. Like that's just kind of what the song is. So it's very like emotionally challenging, and it's beautiful in that sense, but there's just not a lot going on.
No, this is probably more of that storytelling song that needed to be put in there.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's a great song. Like I don't like go, oh my god, no, not Are You Really Okay? It's just actually funny I could bring it up from the TikTok video that we posted of doing Euclid and karaoke.
Yes, that's us.
Our
We're
buddy
those guys.
doing the air drumming in the maroon shirt. He's not like super into Sleep Token like we are, but he likes them. And Are You Really Okay? Euclid, like those kind of songs he loves. And we were talking about it last night, or 2 nights ago. He was like, why don't they ever play it live? Like, I don't think there's a live performance of it. And I think it's just because it doesn't live up to the demographic of music that they've put out for this album specifically.
No,
like,
I think the
mean?
only time they'd sing that live is if they are like at a concert and they're playing for like 2 to 3 hours. Maybe you'll get it thrown in there.
Yeah.
But that's also a lot, especially with how demanding most of the songs. Like, I'm not a singer. I don't understand how demand works, but the way he keeps fluctuating in his range seems very demanding for his voice.
Yeah, that could definitely be
So, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't think we're ever going to get that long of a concert from them. And that's okay, because frankly, I'd love to see him have
be
a
at their
longevity.
peak.
Yeah.
Then,
But
let's move on from Are You Really Okay? Good song. I want to make sure that's known because that was truly one of my first like addictive songs.
yeah.
I think it was in my top 5 most listened to in 2023. But The Apparition is
I love this one. I love
Insane.
this one.
it's insane.
This is to me another one of their strong songs.
It is very strong.
Um,
It's not one of my like super favorites.
I think it's simple too. I think
It
it's
is
on the
simple.
simple end. But they have the layering towards the end of it, if I am correct. Or maybe it's not layering. Oh no, I think they go heavy with the instruments, and then his vocals are actually dialed back.
Well,
So
yeah,
they're
'cause
almost
they
like
just use like electric guitar in the beginning. Like you get like that little minor chord to start, and it's just nice. Like it's I appreciated them doing it in this song more because it sounded out of place in a good way. I was like, oh, this sounds like a pretty normal structure, and then you get that like almost horn synth sound, like that they kind of transition to
and
kind of make
it's
it go
almost like,
crazy.
well, I guess I kind of on the nose with the song name, but the way he intros the song, um, portraying this person like in the dream, almost like ghostly,
Mm.
I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah, no, the imagery for that it's very different than a lot of like the other stuff that they've talked about. I think in that
Because
way,
I think the intro, the way he sings it too, is almost kind of how you
Ghostly.
picture a ghost. Yeah, like no, so
No,
that's
that's a good
really
point. I like
really
that.
cool. Like they really just go kind of crazy with their music, and they're very creative, which is probably why a lot of people are starting to really get into them because they're like us. Like we listen to this album, and then all of a sudden we're like, I want more, and now we're going into the
Yeah.
past, and we're like,
Give me
this
my
is
slop,
yeah,
please.
yeah. So, but I mean, this is just a great song. I love when the first chorus hits in, because he comes in so strong and heavy. Um, I mean, there's not much more to say here, at least for me, because it's far more one of their simple. I think it's a short song too.
It is. I think it's like 4.5 minutes or something. Maybe 5.
But it's a good like 4.5 minute ride. It really is.
Just more like the oxymoron stuff. Again, the Jekyll and Hyde, all that crap. Like just the last line in the refrain: "Loaded dreams still leave me empty."
Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot of that back and forth, the north and south, all that stuff. It's fun, man. And the way they do it, the way it's presented, I don't get bored of it because there's definitely a world where they don't do it at a high enough level, where it's just like it seems too repetitive, and it's like, dude, we get it. Like we get the confliction, but they keep finding new ways to wrap it up and gift it to us on Christmas, and they'll eat like the cookies and stuff, and we're just like, yeah, cool.
And I do, I don't think I've listened to the song in the light of it because of how heavy the song is. I don't think I've thought of this in like a more like sad way because it kind of just hit me now. The line, "Why are you never real?"
Mm-hmm.
kind of just hurt me a little bit.
Oh yeah,
And I don't know why it hasn't like hit me like that yet because I feel like it goes right into the whole story that they had is just like because this seems more like that dream version of his obsession with sleep, and this version seems to want him like he wants sleep, and then going like, "Why are you never real?" Just kind of hurt a little bit. Just kind of put me in a little bit of pain just now.
I think that doubles leading into the next track. Do you wish that you loved me? Because I think that also there's a tinge of that self love again in
Yeah.
when he's saying like, why is this part of me like not real? Why do I have to fabricate it? Why do I have to force myself to feel this way? And I think that's what coincides to this song, where it's just like,
what if sleep isn't real? What if this is just a story of him trying to find self-love?
no,
The whole thing.
that is
Or is
very
that what you were-
genuinely what I'm like alluding to. That's a
Oh.
very big theory
Well,
I
then,
have that.
Listen, I'm like kind of I'm boarding your boat right now.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
something I
it's
believed
kind
for a
of
very
it's
long
kind of
time.
just clicking in my head, and you kind of let me get there myself. So I'm just like, you know what?
Because I think it can be two things. It could be this horrible relationship with a narcissist, but he himself could view himself as like this narcissist, and he just gets in his own way all the time, and he just wants to be more. But like, we'll get into why there is some pushback with that. I think that's why I think it's both things. Because obviously, it's this manic, emotional craziness that's going on, and with "Do You Wish That You Loved Me," I will not lie. I don't not like the song. It's probably my least listened to. I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's wonderful.
It's very like it's just
When the sun comes
the
out,
tune,
if
yeah.
it comes on and I'm sitting at the beach or something, I'll be like, oh yeah, dude, fuck yeah, I fucking
Yeah,
know
let me
myself
listen
too,
to this
whatever.
really depressing song that instrumentally is just a bop, you know?
But I do think I'll be honest, I haven't listened to it like months, but I'm trying
It's
to.
the do 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 kind of like that. But you then your self-love thing is this, and my reflection won't smile back at me like I know it should.
That's what I was just going to. That whole little bridge is
Well, yeah, because then you go
very powerful.
follows, and I would turn into a stranger in an instant if I could, and there's something eating me alive, and I don't know what it is. Maybe not that you conceal your feelings; they just don't exist.
Again, going back into that narcissist fucking bullshit, man. It's just
But you could also turn that into if he's talking to himself here, right?
that's like in my reflection, right? Like It
Yeah.
seems like it's a conversation in the mirror that's happening.
So he's talking to this other version of himself that is just treating like maybe not feelings as a weakness, but treating them as invaluable. So he just like doesn't show them. Like he suffers in silence, essentially because feelings are stupid or whatever. You know?
Yeah, because there's a level of being vulnerable with the whole idea of toxic masculinity and all that stuff too. I think that isn't really super touched upon, but you could draw it from this if you're trying to connect dots of like, I shouldn't feel this way.
No,
like, I need to be stronger than that emotionally. Like, I need to just work through this stuff. But I think Riker Road actually, they've said this the last like 4 songs, and even in Arcadia, where it's like, he doesn't have to do this. Like, he doesn't have to write this music. He's being this vulnerable, and like laying it all out there. Obviously, he's making a lot of money and stuff, but like, he doesn't have to share this story. He could just be there. There's, and this is me saying this, not them. There are probably hundreds of thousands of people out there that feel the same way and deal with the same issues all the time and stuff. But it's someone being able to put it out in the ether that's able to be digested that I think people find a lot of enjoyment in the music. That's kind of what, in the very beginning, when I was talking about like when you understand like the lore and you find like empathy because you've dealt with something, whether it's a narcissistic relationship or you have problems with self-love or whatever, or someone that has, like, this stuff just hits harder. It just does.
Yeah, no, and I think you know what? I think the instrumentation of this song almost takes away from it lyrically.
I think that was actually a choice they made for the song
because feelings are stupid, you know?
Yes. No, that's 100. I 100%. That is my exact thought. It's like they're trying to make it so it's just another passerby. It's just another song you hear.
Like, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Look at me.
It's like, woe is me.
Yeah.
It's such a, there's a validity to feeling that way. And I think their music has cultivated some good, some bad of that being, properly demonstrated. But without me fucking monologuing for too long, why don't we move on to one of the most bangers of all bangers?
Oh, dude, this is
Rain
this is great.
Fucking, oh my god! If you want to vibe and jam out, you play Rain. The intro right away. Oh my!
I love the whole. I love the entire like beat of the song with the drums. I love because it follows it through, and it's a little subtle at the beginning. But when he comes back in, I'm trying to pull it back. It's
is
like
that our next karaoke song? Dude, that would be brutal.
And just like the rain. Dude, I can't. I have to warm my voice up for that.
Yeah, I'd be drinking a throat coat in the back.
Because I'm trying to remember. Because it was like boom, clap, boom, 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 clap.
When we did the top 20 and I talked about it, it's very much, it has that like Queen-esque feel. Like, I feel like this song has a bit of like, in a very odd way, like that 70s influence, 80s influence to it because of that. The way they have like perpetuated a beat like that into this song, into this like almost creating this cult following to make all these people say rain down on me, and just to have it explode the way it does.
Yeah.
Where it makes you just want to, like, it genuinely feels like if you were to, it was dumping rain outside and you were just like this. And you were just letting it fall on you. That's what that song is. And they do such a good job of just that imagery again, man. God. What a song.
This song is also one of more of those like roller coaster rides because it starts off like kind of on that quieter, lyric heavy version of it where it's just real sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a reflection essentially. Because I think, what does he say? Like, I almost became a stoic statue fit for nobody.
Yeah.
But then as soon as that ends, you start getting the drums, but they're not overpowering yet. It's kind of this build up, and then he keeps singing, and it just keeps getting more and more powerful until the culmination at the end, where he's just going heavy rain down on me, and the drums are just going at it. I think the whole build up to this song was crazy, and I think that's why it resonates so well.
And just going into the next album, just that the vicious cycle was over. Like, the vicious cycles, it's this very well-known phenomenon that you can apply to so many different things. I am just curious if that is a tie-in specifically to the... Yeah, because I'm just processing this now. Even in Arcadia, or potentially other new stuff, which we'll get into. But anyway...
Well, that would be more of a callback to the houses, no? Maybe?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, are we getting a divided thing there in this song? Are they going to try to repurpose this in a way too? Because they totally could. But yeah, like I just think you're right. It's that song or it's the sound of like, it's almost like the woe is me until like the, nah man, I'm fucking ready to go. Let's get it. Like, I'm in, which is cool. It's cool for the emotional journey. To be like, you're taking all these twists and turns, but it's overall like him becoming more powerful and Sleep seemingly becoming weaker in the true narrative, which that could just be him overcoming his own demons.
Yeah.
Which takes us to the title track, which...
Take me back to Sweden.
Take me back to Sweden.
Back to Sweden.
The damn Swedes.
I would love some chocolate right now.
Before we get into this.
Oh, yeah, check. Because I'm probably going to want to do a quick L break after this. Because I need a pee. No, let's just finish the album. If it's still going good, because then we'll just cut it out. And then,
Hour 40 right now?
Jesus. I think we did Sundowning a disservice. Because now we're, like, we're finding our flow here.
I know, because I was thinking about that, but at the end of the day, like, I do think that's a part of it being their first album, though. It's like there was a lot to digest, but at the end of the day, like, it was their first album, and it was laying the foundation. We know we have the concrete. Now we got all the extra shit that's being put up in this giant manner of depression that they've created.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, take it back to Eden.
Take me back.
Holy shit. This, if you want to talk about like a cinematic song, this is
probably
the most cinematic out of any song I've ever heard in my life that wasn't a score for
it's like
fucking Interstellar.
I think lyrically this was nuts too.
Oh my god!
What is it?
Yeah.
I dream in phosphorescence.
Yep. Bleed through spaces, see you drifting past the fog, but no one told you where to go.
And like, but see, that imagery is also beautiful because I think that probably essentially brings me back to where Atlantic brought me,
And
like in that just voidly floatingness of just, and that's where I start at the start of this song.
And that's so right along with that, because it's definitely, this is the huge callback to Tomb and his headspace being in the water of, we dive through crystal waters, perfect oceans, but no one told me not to breathe, and now the weightlessness recedes. Like, it's the power, like, lifting from him of how he feels about everything. It's just, the way they do things, man, the way this song specifically is structured is to the nines, man.
This was just they did so well with how they did this.
I love the "I'm a winged insect, you're a funeral pyre," just as, like a moth to a flame. Like, it's just cool.
The chorus, that's what brought me in. I think this was the song that really brought me in originally.
Yeah.
'Cause it's purely for that chorus itself. It was just
the R&B in this is really good too.
Mm-hmm. I split bub when I wake
I think too
up.
many people shit on, because there's a lot of people that make fun of the room feels like a meat freezer. I dangle in like cold cuts. I get it, right? It's kind of funny, but dude, I think in the frame of the song that shit goes kind of hard. I won't lie, I like it. It's just, again, it's something different. It's just not something. A lot of people wouldn't say that, I guess, for a good reason, but in the way this song kind of like flows, it's pretty fucking money. It's just, it's again, it's that confidence. This is like, this doesn't feel like the false confidence side of Vessel. This is like it's him actually like being like, okay, like I'm here, like I'm doing this shit.
See, I can't get over this chorus. I still can't. It's still one of my favorites.
And then the verse when everything kind of breaks down is like,
Oh,
you
don't
want to
even
talk about
start.
every time I well up every single time.
I think
it's not even the most like. Sorry,
No.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no,
It's
you're-
not the most lyrically impressive. It's just
how
this
it's
is one of
presented.
the. It's how it's presented, and it's one of the few times he is super blunt, and I think he is talking about like just his true personal life with what it is. And this again, I've always imagined this to be him talking in the mirror still for this part specifically of self-love. Like I just imagine him having this conversation with himself, because this is something like I think you have to tell yourself a lot. Like you have to say like, no, you know what, my situation isn't that bad. Like I could figure this out. Like I'm good. Like, we just got to make it through it, kind of, you know?
I'm trying to recall for this final verse before he goes into the final chorus. Is it just him? Is there no instrumentation back here, or is there slight piano?
I think there's slight piano, because there's like they kind of go back to like that ambient sound
I
behind
almost
it.
need to hear that again before I speak.
Just rip it.
Well, because if I need to hear this, because I have a thought in my mind, and if it makes sense in my head if I'm saying this the right way. So, hold on. We might have to cut this out, because I just have to hear this real quick. And I probably could have you hear it too. I'm going to fast forward. Oh, I just hit the mic. All right, so there is...
Yeah, because I go back to like the outdoorsy birds. Yeah. You got the reverb to the nines piano.
All right, so yeah, we did just confirm that there's a piano and him, but but it's the way he presents this. So you were talking about it's not lyrically insane. It's kind of one of the more common phrases, like we have no idea what we got till we lose it. It's the way he sings this, and you hear like it's on the verge of tears almost, because this is like a big welling of emotion, and it's almost like that, and almost like you take a breath and you just kind of like look down and take it all in. It's almost like a defeated look when he says it, although that's not the presentation of the song, but like this stanza of like a reflection is kind of just like almost like a defeated thing. If I feel like I'm trying, it's how he's presenting it.
No, I think you're articulating it very well. I totally agree. And it almost feels like, at least for me, like with that too, when it goes into the second half, when they don't, I love, they didn't fucking punch in overdrive guitars. It's like just the drums really kick in when he's like, and I don't know what's got its teeth in me. Like, it's almost like he's on the verge of like crying, but it's more just like, he's almost like, dude, fuck is wrong with me? You know, like, it's just that conversation and self-reflection of just like, fuck. You know? At least that's how I take it exactly from where you're going.
It's real. I think this is like one of the most emotional parts that he sings, or like he puts the most emotion into this. And I think hearing that live, he almost fucking cried, to be honest with you.
Dude, the last two lines of that are, no amount of self-sought fury will bring back the glory of innocence.
And those two lines are,
but I think that is the true like call to action here for what their music is. This is exactly why I think this is just mostly music about dealing with self-love, because that's exactly what it is, man. Like, when you get to a point where you're just mentally struggling so much, and you're just, everybody wants the good old days back, and then, you know, there's the adage of like, we're in the good old days right now, so enjoy it. But
yeah,
just thinking about it, like, as stupid as you want to make it, whether it's being like, oh, I remember when I didn't have to pay a mortgage and I could just wake up as a 10-year-old and hop on my GameCube, to just like, craving moments of, clarity and wanting to just exist without having these things, bite you in the head, which I think that's why he says it, bite back in anger. There's a lot of, the references to teeth and stuff, because emotional attacks almost feel a lot like biting. I've always felt like that, and I think it's cool that he's articulated it in that way as well, because when something bites you, it leaves imprints on you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You scar, and obviously weapons and stuff do that too, but the difference is teeth have marks. A knife is a blade. It's one single thing. Teeth, they're all different, and they have different grooves and stuff in them, and you could see that in your skin, even if it's like a playful bite from
and
somebody.
Bite marks are different between each person.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
like a fingerprint.
We all have these different, things that we've had to deal with and bullshit, and those two lines just kind of really dig into, like, it's him projecting and how he wants to get better. It's almost like a big therapy session for himself of self-reflection. And that's really important, I think, to help yourself if you ever deal with anything like that, is to face your emotions as much as you can.
Yeah, no, that was the ending of this song was just.
And yeah, when it all comes together, again, that's one of those
right after this. Oh, that's one of those payoff. This is one of those payoff songs, and then it gets even. You have that final payoff when he just starts screaming.
And it's that full release of, like, all this pent up emotion and anger, and the way the song all flows into that. God, is it good, man?
Yeah.
God, is it good?
And just like
Chills.
him screaming, going, "I will travel far beyond the path of reason. Take me back to Eden. Take me back to Eden." That
just brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. But which so perfectly leads to the conclusion of "Take Me Back to Eden," Euclid. One of the greatest songs ever written. Don't fucking at me.
Yeah.
Just everything about it. We can dissect the hell out of this. I don't know.
We
if
shouldn't.
need to.
We shouldn't. Purely just because.
I don't even care about time or anything. Just I do have some interesting thoughts though about Euclid, because I've heard some interesting theories. Like, one being that "Take It Back to Eden" is the true conclusion of the album, and this is kind of like the epilogue, where it's kind of like the reflection of everything, being like, hey, like, let's try one more time, but like nothing serious. And what I truly think this song is, and maybe it's just my cynical brain, it's that false confidence that he seems to go in between, where he's fabricated this emotion of being like, no, you know what? I am better and stronger now. I can do this. Like, if we just go back to the good old times, like, everything will be good. I don't care if you're a narcissist. I don't care if you're this. We can make this work. Like, let's try it. Let's go for one last ride.
I think this is more so just, like, wanting to have, like, a conclusive conversation with Sleep.
And I think that's the right way to look at it, but the thing that just, it kills me, and I can't think that, is the outro. The callback to "The Night Does Not Belong to God" being, no matter what he does, even though he changes the words a bit to be a bit more positive.
Yeah.
Sleep will always be walking beside him, even in Arcadia. And I think that's just what it is. This is someone or something he can't let go. And he knows that. And it's more so this song that's shrouded in this beautiful, positive, wonderful sounding thing that ultimately is just resolving. And they're so good at this. It's just resolving and him being like, I'm fucked. Like, and I just accept that I'm fucked. Like, okay. It kind of goes back to that whole masculinity thing of being like, we'll figure it out. Like, we have no choice to like anything in life. And I hate that, because I love this song and I love the beautiful message it does portray. But that's, truthfully, after listening to it 1,000 times, I've taken it there.
I'm trying to.
You can totally push back on
I'm
me,
looking at
but
these words again, and I'm trying to I'm almost getting lyrically an Emergence vibe from this. Like kind of like that chorus from like word choice being similar and being more of this like you have the yet in reverse you are all my symmetry, a parallel I would lay my life on, kind of
Yeah.
goes back to like
That's the very first verse I think where it's like we
just running forward a life like wires. I see the past on an empty ceiling. I play along with the life signs anyway. I hope to God you don't know this feeling. Yet in reverse, you were all my symmetry. You are all a parallel I would lay my life on. So if your wings don't find you heaven,
which they reference in even in Arcadia.
I will bring it down like an ancient bygone.
Which what a fucking bar.
Dude, that whole this song was just so sad isn't the right word. This song was like this is one of their like.
It's supposed to be happy. This is a spoiler for Expedition 33 if anybody plays it. This is when they beat the Paintress and they go back to the town and it's all happy, but then everybody gets gomaged. And you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, because then you pull back right at the end where they bring that intro from The Night Does Not Belong to God and they just end it with that.
Oh, dude, this song had me I was in a puddle when I listened to this for the first time. It felt like I say this all the time to him. This was my Ratatouille moment when the food critic eats the food and he's just like, it takes him back to like his childhood. I feel like I go through like this journey, like I reflect on my life and stuff listening to this song.
And see, that's going back to what I was saying before we started going into the album. It's like, imagine being able to like hear that, because when did the first album come out?
2019, I think.
So imagine being pulled all the way back to there when that came on.
That moment from
I think
we
that,
just got one. We got
I
that
know,
one moment
like,
from the one album, and that was like, holy shit! I can't even imagine.
Like, props to the people who found them and got to experience it that way. Like, I'm sorry you had to deal with that, you know, like because that just makes the song even more of a little like punch to the heart.
And to really wrap this up, too, Take It Back to Eden was such a fucking crazy cool album with crazy artwork and all this stuff. Such a masterful thing.
It released the day after my birthday.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
I think the biggest thing I've taken away from this album, too, was I really learned how great 2 was. Obviously, it was the first, but this was like, the drumming is what really brought me in, honestly, more than anything, because I never heard a drummer like this before. And, dude, the rabbit hole I fell down with drumming and all that stuff, man, it just did something to me. So the band is so phenomenal. The songwriting's amazing, but 2 needs his flowers. I think as amazing as Vessel is and how amazing he sings and all these lyrics and stuff, I feel like 2 is the true, like, he's the engine of this album, and it's what makes it so good.
Oh, I think it's really just the 2 of them.
Whoa.
Oh,
2.
Yeah, no, but like,
holy, wow.
I think it's the way they work together.
Yeah,
because
it's
if the Drumeo thing, I think he mentioned his drumming is based off Vessel.
Yeah, like it's very.
So I think I don't know if they've known each other forever or whatnot. I don't know that backstory, but I think the way they work together to kind of put together songs, I think is what makes a lot of these such a great like ride to listen to, because it always just feels so different to listen to, and like from what I traditionally listen to, because you always have these like slight pauses and like I guess the phrasing of the drums just keep me guessing. Because it doesn't sound like, sometimes you can like hear a song and you know when they're gonna hit the snares and stuff because it seems so obvious.
Yeah.
And here you're just like, he's gonna hit it but he doesn't, and he's just like that pause. It's a little wild ride, and I love just re-listening to songs and focusing more on one aspect of it and going like, oh wow,
there's a lot to digest.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
But with that too, 2. Ranking these 4 albums is going to be really hard.
Well, see, I
talking about it's hard to like not
like
flail on my opinions, but we're gonna hop onto Even in Arcadia. And that'll be
Come now, swing wide those gates.
I want to pause this too and see if I need to charge my phone.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Even in Arcadia.
The newest of the new. Yeah.
Lots of emotions on this one. Mostly.
Oh
sad.
yeah. Still taking this all in a little bit, you know.
Yeah, like so.
After-
It's such a that our reaction videos on the True First Listen. I think it's just so funny, like going back and like experiencing that in like in real time. I haven't gone and like watched all of them all the way through, honestly, outside of like editing stuff. But now like opinions, how they've changed, and it's just so fun to be able to truly digest kind of like what we were just talking about, like being a part of this as an experience and knowing what's going on and creating our own assertions is just so fun.
Dude, you're using such big words.
It's just it's
Assertions
so
is
cool.
opinions, I think, for us laymen's out there.
Emphasis on ass, because our opinions are ass, but they're also great because they're good ass, I think.
Dude, we like ass, you know.
But we're gonna hop right into it. We're starting off with I'm gonna come out swinging here.
Are you?
Hands up.
On God.
This has dethroned The Night Does Not Belong to God as strongest opening track to an album. Which is insane because I like The Night Does Not Belong to God more as a song. But, dude, this song as an opener, it should not be here. This should not be the opening track to the album. This shocked me. And it gave me everything I wanted from the different heaviness and stuff. And I get why it is. I mean, in terms of the messaging, it definitely should be. Like, not that there's anything wrong formulated with that. How is the title track not the opening track to this album?
Doesn't fit the story. But I mean, they did
I
that
know.
with Take Me Back to Eden, too.
I know, but Take It Back to Eden made sense because that was like, the whole point of that was the closing thing. They slammed it right in the middle, which, again, I think kind of, not to get too much into even in Arcadia, the song, but it's that like Jekyll and Hyde oxymoron thing where it's like you kind of have like different feelings, I feel like, in the first and second half of the album. Like it's very interesting. They almost created a divide in the middle, like the two houses. But anyway, back to this actual song to talk about it. This is an insanely well formulated song with some of their most artistic, cool choices ever. God, is this shit a punch in the fucking head?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Like,
I think this is like one of my favorites on the album.
one of my favorite ever. I'll tell you straight out, if we do another like top 10 list or whatever, this will 100% be in my top 10.
I could see that for myself,
Holy
too.
shit, man. I mean, the only thing I would say that would prevent it from being even higher, and this is just a personal taste thing. I know it's like the Will You Halt This Eclipse in me. The repetitive stuff, it does get a tiny bit tiring for me at points. I do like it, especially like the whispering one right before, they go fucking heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have no problem. I'm not saying it's
that's
bad.
probably why it's the opener, because of that phrase itself.
Yes.
Because that's what's setting the stage for this album, essentially.
And it's what they end up rounding back to.
Yeah,
all the way
so,
to the end. No, I totally get it. It's just, man, in terms of like how strong of a song this is, and I get you want to pull people into an album, I mean, this is their best opening track, I think. Not by a wide margin, but it's just, I was like befuddled. That's the only word I can
What
think
a
of.
word, Jesus.
I was like, what the hell am I listening to? This is amazing. And not to we have to talk about it because we get the mentioning of like diamonds and stuff again.
Yeah.
All this fun stuff. I'll leave them cold and pushing up boulders in a reference to
I forget the guy's name, but yeah, we were talking the Greek mythology reference to I honest to God forget his name, but he was the one that got when he was sent to the underworld, which I think I forget. Wow, I used to be good at Greek mythology.
Sisyphus.
Yeah, so his punishment was he had to forever push up a boulder, and every time he got it to the top, it would fall back down, and he had to keep pushing it up.
Right.
So you got that reference. Then you have this is like one of my favorite things is like, how did it go? You might have to scroll up so I can get myself started.
Oh, sure.
Oh, maybe it is a little late. Oh, it is later. So we can touch upon that after we go through these couple so it's the sixth verse in that whole stanza. It's like,
Oh yeah, right.
even in this garden of gardens, I am the god of the gaps. I am the demon of Sodom. I am the blood of an angel. That little like
that flow.
that it was so good. And then you listen to it, and then I had to look up that I'm the demon of Sodom. I had to figure out what that meant, so I had to look it up. So demon of Sodom isn't like a
Back shots.
specific. It isn't a specific demon. It's more so referring to the ancient cities of Sodom and another one that I forget, back in Christianity. And demon Sodom is really just referencing his wickedness. So, and I think that kind of flows with a lot of what's going on with the album, especially in Emergence too. I think he has some relation to that too. Lyrically, we'll touch upon. But that little stanza, that's like one of my favorite parts of the
Verse
song.
6 is the strongest lyricism, I think, in this song in its entirety. I mean, just the last two. I have held on to these, clutched them like pearls since the first listen, that even at stratospheric depths, this vertigo of bliss. Vertigo of bliss is one of my favorite ways to, I feel like, describe something I've ever heard of. Because, dude, that's just so, like, trying to imagine that in your head is like, it just feels holy in a sense. Like, oh my God, it's so good. I just love the way he phrases things, man. And then right
You
after that,
push into the bridge. That
we get hit with that, and you're just like, I mean, it's like in Tom and Jerry when Tom gets hit with a mallet over his head and the big thing goes whoop. Like,
yeah, that was,
and all my emotion was all pent up in there because that tension release was almost like popping a pimple in the song. It was like weird. It was so beautiful. The harmony, like the falsetto.
yeah, and
Oh my God.
and then lyrically, this goes back to that the self love.
Yeah.
Because it's I used to know myself. Then we'll skip the part you used to know me well, because then it goes back to wish that I could leave myself alone. So kind of being in your own way of trying to do, like, essentially get better. But then it kind of, I think this is why I almost feel like the sleep itself was this real being, because it's like you used to know me well. It kind of goes back to, I guess maybe if you did the forefront of the relationship when things were on like a good end, like, and you essentially knew each other, and you knew each other well. And he says that, and mean to quote that word for word, but you know a person on such a deep level, and then you take that away, and it's like you miss a part of yourself.
Yeah.
And because then it goes, wish that you could make me whole, or you wish that you could make me whole. So it's just that the flow of the song into the bridge was just that was, like you said, just the Tom and Jerry whack of the head.
Dude, like, just
Wasn't ready for that at all.
it's this, and they bring upon the phrasing of flooding and stemming the flood and songs down the line and all that. And I think the way this song was like, this song felt like a river, like over years, like eroding around mountains, and it created this path to lead to like this stemming of the song where it like splits into this like that. I think that's part of why I love the line "this vertigo of bliss," because it almost sounds so on the nose. They said that and then jumped into that vertigo of bliss with this part, where you just get shocked, kind of like with Vertigo when like you activate, you're just like, oh my, what the
What's
hell's
going on? Yeah,
That's exactly what this bridge does, and it's just such top tier songwriting to me, because this is what I was talking about with like, we can kind of be like, oh, we know when this part's coming. You knew something was going to happen. No, I did not. Anybody I've talked to that likes this song did not expect that. That was like
it kind of would sound more so like a lead up to something heavier.
And it just, oh man, great.
No,
song.
I love being thrown for a loop though. They do that so well here.
And just obviously the phrase, "Will you halt this eclipse in me?" I think when we first talked about it, I was talking about like what I think is that he's saying like, I like don't want to have to experience these emotions again, but like you kind of have to like feel better. Like you have to let the eclipse happen.
Yeah.
And I still think I stand by that a bit. I don't hate my take with that. But I do think if you want to be much more on the nose about it, it's just another way of saying like, I need to stop this from happening again. Like it's him talking to himself, being like, no, we're not letting this happen again. Like I'm not falling into this trap.
Well, I wonder if it's more so like the eclipse isn't like I think trying to caveat what you're saying. The eclipse hasn't happened yet. I think he wants to stop it before it starts.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think I think I just layman terms what you said.
No, you said it beautifully. Damn it.
Yeah, for all the people that aren't intellectually smart like me.
Or me just pretending to pull words out of my ass that I'm probably using.
You use the
incorrectly.
thesaurus.
I listen. I'm not. I kind of went back and forth of being like, should we make a top 10 of these songs? I don't want to, personally, really, because I think they all fit in their own different ways, and that feels a bit disingenuous to me. But I gotta say, Emergence being the first single, and it's like a great song. I honestly think, with how good it is, I do think it's one of the weaker tracks on this album.
I also
love the traction, like at the end of it, that it builds.
I think the issue was because it was the first song we got, and we got to like beat it up.
I know. That's why I wanted to let this simmer for a bit, because now I went from when we were first listening to it, I would always skip Emergence, Caramel, and Damocles. I just did it because I wanted all the new songs.
Yeah.
And I got to the point over the last like 4 or 5 days where I was like, okay, I'm
now
listening
it's
like
full
every
album
day,
time,
full
yeah.
album. And I truthfully like the syncopation in the drumming and the singing is really cool. I think this is a very artistic song. I think the words are great. And I love the ending. It's just, I think it's the refrain again of just the wrap your arms around me thing.
Yeah.
It's it feels like a lot, and I think it's just because Windward had the same thing. And I think with Windward being an even stronger song for me, that it almost hurts this a little bit. Like I almost wish Emergence is in the right spot, and I think they could keep that. I almost just wish they put it in a different spot. What are you doing, stupid? Fucking BJ's in this house, I guess. But
He's going back to it.
stupid. No head on the podcast.
Keep it PC.
Yeah.
You know.
Keep it podcast. I just felt like it was a bit like pushed back. Like hearing it the first time, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I like what they're doing. But just back to back with Windward, like I don't know if that's the idea of maybe the houses in a way. Even like those are the two different refrains from the houses. That's kind of what I was thinking too.
It could be, yeah.
And that's kind of what they're trying to push across. And because it just seems like if you want to look for one word to describe what they're pushing, I think it's divide. Like there is a divide that they've created. Like not so much in like fandom and shit like that, but I think in the actual like music, because especially in this album, there are songs that seem to be written for Sleep Token, and there are songs that seem to be written about Vessel.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there.
Well, no. Well, I mean, you went off, but you kind of you really just
Snapped on that shit.
Yeah, like there's not a lot to re-unpack here, because hey, we've done this. I mean, when we unpacked this song, this really fit into like the lore, so we unpacked it more so from a lore perspective originally, and then you get Caramel, and you're just kind of like, all right, well this doesn't make sense, and then you got Damocles, and that was just like this. You're trying to figure out, and I still don't even know if I really know where Emergence fully fits.
I don't either.
And that's
totally
kind of like that's like I don't know. I don't know, and just listening to it and still trying to figure out, because it almost seems it's so more seems lore based.
Can I actually offer something that I'm just thinking of now? This is
behold an offering.
Yeah, behold an offering. And this is probably a very popular opinion. Because obviously we all understand what even in Arcadia means from, the outside lens, if you want to break it down.
I think we talked about that too in the Emergence video.
Yeah, it's very extensively. We kind of get the idea of it. Hopping along with that, I wonder if Eden specifically means this place right? That it seems to of like this like holy like you could even just think of it as like happiness and like being in like a happy place. What if Eden is like this new person? Like that was his old horrible narcissistic relationship, and he's in this new relationship with this Eden, and this is kind of like talking a bit about not entirely being over sleep, but kind of almost like talking to Eden in a way of like about the traumas and stuff, but still kind of like alluding to the fact that he still has feelings for sleep.
I see. I don't know if
Like
that's
a lot, but
well. See, what I'm thinking here is now, because you basically Eden and Arcade are almost synonyms for each other for paradise.
right, yes.
So
That's kind of why I'm like
but you have the take me back to Eden. So take me back to paradise. I'm gonna say it like that.
yeah, cuz
And then
actually I'll bring up something. Sorry, go ahead.
so now we have even in paradise. So I think concluded with take me back to Eden, he found paradise, but there's still issues.
But what
And it's the
question
lingering.
is, what is paradise, right? That's why I'm like, is there truth to is Eden a person, even though it's taken back to Eden? Like, if this person, maybe it was an old flame or something that he had that, had something with, and he wants to go back to this good person that maybe it didn't work the first time or something, whatever. He wants to go back to them because of how bad it was with sleep, and is Eden in Arcadia?
I think I'm gonna think more so along like the
'Cause
original thoughts.
I agree with like the idea of it being like a headspace thing and all that. I'm just like I'm trying to. I'm literally just piecing this together right now in my head to see if there's any like validity to it. And I think throughout the album there can be, but also I want to touch on this. This is what I wanted to say before. You bring up Paradise. One of the things, because obviously it's being alleged that potentially this could be a double album, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm choosing not to believe right now because that would be utterly insane and it'd be crazy to market this and then be like,
I haven't even
hey,
recovered from this album. I can't do another one. Are you
but
kidding me?
there were like, they could be totally like photoshopped and stuff on Twitter. It's so Sleep Token drowned my entire Twitter feed, and somebody posted like pictures of something that like leaked song names potentially or something, and one of them was Paradise Valley.
Jeez. But see, again, I like yourself. I don't want to believe in a double album.
I know that's I very like
the reason why it lingers in my head is because the different colors. We have none of the white. We have all the green and gold, but none of the white and gold.
Was Caramel white and gold? I could have swore that was, I don't know if
I
that
thought
was it.
I thought on the music video it was green.
Oh, maybe that's what it is in the music. You might be right.
Well, let me see. I'll see if does Spotify have the album covers, because then that completely ruins my theory. But then it brings up a different point.
Yeah, see, Caramel has white and gold here,
Interesting.
and that's why I think
Spotify?
I think white and gold are the songs about Vessel,
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna.
and the green is about Sleep Token specifically, like the.
So
love
yeah,
stuff.
that was gonna be my caveat if I was completely stupid, which I usually am, and that's okay. Oh, it doesn't show the album covers. So yeah, I would guess at that point, any type of gold, yeah, it was gonna be more of this Vessel, and his own thoughts, and then this green is gonna be more pertained to, I guess, more of the lower side of things. But getting back to what Paradise is, I think to caveat the thoughts that we're having, again, talking about all these albums again, Paradise is self-love.
Yeah, no,
I think that
I
that
agree.
would probably make the most sense, because I would think even if you love yourself, pain comes in waves, and you don't control when it happens. Like some days you just wake up and you're sad, you know? You could be the happiest person on earth, but some days you just wake up and you're like, man, I don't want to do today, you know?
Dude, that's why I only say this. This is such a random thought. Because I just opened up the next song, Past Self's lyrics and stuff. That there's a little thing for seeing Sleep Token live. I hope one day, not that we need to be like super wealthy or anything doing this shit. Really don't give a fuck about it. I would love if we could like, because I think they make it really hard now because of how hard the tickets are to come by and stuff. If we could even just get 2 cheap seats and give them away. Could you imagine how
that
fucking
would
sick
be
that
awesome.
Because I want somebody who's never seen them play live to go see it. Just because, again, from a viewing perspective, from the audio engineering and stuff for how they play, like it was so miraculous. I can't wait to see them in September. Like
You know what's
man.
funny though? Based off how Ticketmaster did the thing, so we'd purchase the tickets obviously.
Right.
But you can't share. Oh, I guess.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
So they'd have to come with us essentially,
It-
which sucks because then we'd have to get it where it's convenient for both of us to go. Unless there was a way. I'm trying to remember. Because I was able to share the tickets to you for the first concert. I was
Yeah.
able to send those to you,
'Cause
and that was all
can,
well
that's
and
what you
good.
can do. I think you can like send them to somebody, but that stuff's so freaky because we're two dumb idiots. I don't know if we'd
We'd
be able
have to
do that
look
right.
into that or set something up.
or get somebody to do it for us.
Or, if we just
front the money
become
for it.
really cool with V, we could set that up all nice and
V,
easy,
yeah. 2, 3, 4, and 5. I keep seeing it real quick. This has nothing to do with anything. I keep seeing these stupid ass TikToks, and it'll be like Romans when they want to order like 2 beers or 5 beers or something, and they keep doing this.
and they only get 2.
Fuck.
Uh,
Anyway, we'll get back on track.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
gotta-
that was a fucking
Little-
ADHD moment for me. I just thought that'd be cool. Maybe one day we'll do that for you guys. If we do, fuck yeah. If not, fuck you. Anyway, we're gonna hop on a pass self here.
Started off as a bop.
It-
The
It is a bop. They hired Drake to write a song with them, so that's cool. But
I believe it.
nah, this is like the only song. It's really cool. Really, I do enjoy the song. I actually never skip it when it comes on. I listen to it every time, and it's not like I'm not like forced to. I'm just like, dude, fuck, this hit. Like this vibes. Like this is cool. There's some really really cool lyrical work in it.
It pulls
But this
back-
is a song that you have to understand stuff, I think, to enjoy. Even like though it's a basic beat and stuff, like I think if you don't, you'll just be like, this is just every other song I've heard that comes out in 2025.
Well, yeah, because this pulls back to Windward with the line, I don't even know who I used to be. Or I don't know if that's a full pullback because he goes, I used to know myself. But now he's saying, I don't know who I used to be.
Yeah.
But
nothing is the same.
And some things have to change. Grr, 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 grr.
But then right after that, back to the nerdy shit, like, are you the guardian angel hacking into my brain cells?
That's still one of my favorite lines of the song.
Dude, I should have. There's a song that they kind of reference something like that. Too.
It'd probably be a centrism, no?
Is it?
They call like
oh man, stupid alert. You know what, I'm just gonna. I'll bathe in my own fucking shit here and just not know the reference. But there's a cool reference there, and I apologize.
Because I think they're
freaking ass.
Dude, I can't pull it right now. I should know. I used to know that whole song.
Infinite ass
No.
washing.
No.
Anyway, but yeah, no, like there's a lot of cool lyricism in this song, and there's a lot of like fun stuff. It's the fact that it's so happy, but then it's just the outro. This is the only thing I super want to touch on lyrically outside of what I already brought up, being I just don't want to be lost again. And it leaves you like being like, oh no, he like things are going good. Like he seems to be more self-confident and stuff. And it leaves you wondering like, does he think that he like I'm trying to find the right way to describe, because there's two emotions here for me when I hear this. One being he truthfully is saying that. He's like, I am found. I am where I want to be. I just don't want to go back there. But then there's that false pretense of it being like he kind of knows he still is, but he's trying to convince himself that he's not. But go ahead, sorry.
Tinfoil hat theory. This. Stand by. LRA music. Do 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 ba da 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 do 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 da ba ba da 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 da. Bananas, 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 oranges, 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 bananas. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Boop a doot. This is gonna be such a bad tinfoil hat.
No, it doesn't have to. It's gonna be perfect.
Hold on. If I How do I do this?
I ain't even doing all that.
No, you know what? I got it.
Actually, I don't want this to look like racist or something. We need a mirror. It's all over. I'm no conspiracy man. I only speak the damn truth.
Is that good?
Perfect. You could be tinfoil man. This will be
All
your
right.
backup.
Tinfoil hat theory. I don't want to be lost again is literally just him saying, "Will you halt this eclipse in me?"
It's definitely
I
there's
think
crossover.
I think it's literally a
It's
synonym.
emanating the same message. Yeah, like I totally or not emulating the same message. Like it's we're taking the same idea for the album and it's like pushing it in different ways. Again, it's like
I literally just think it's another way of saying it.
Yeah.
And so again, especially because he says it 5 times, almost very similar to how the outro of Windward is, kind of just saying that over and over again.
Actually, there was one more line. That whole second verse, I think, is the best in the song too.
So again, me being the also smart, non-smart person I am, seeing that the callback since Windwards are opening track, and it seems that the theme is going to be halt this eclipse with me, halt this eclipse in me, and that kind of me assuming that's the theme, and just him saying I don't want to be lost again. He's gonna find different ways of emphasizing that I think he's good now, but something seems to be pulling him down.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's kind of gonna be my now takeaway. If I forget what I said in the reaction video, I was just kind of like too in awe of what was going on.
Yeah, like
so watch those. If you saw our TikTok, you saw me sad. You know, I don't have my blanket anymore. I'm better-ish.
Yeah,
I just don't want to be lost again.
They say like the pretty like cool kids or whatever were watching them. It's just kind of weird you haven't. So I don't know. It's just probably should check them out. I don't know. Maybe even subscribe because that's what the cool guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever. No, it's cool. No, just sit there. I'll gaslight you all fucking day. I don't care. But yeah. So Past Selves, it's a banger. It's a good song. You know what? I think the best way to describe it is what it is. Like more than any other Sleep Token song. Like you're pretty much getting like the song right in front of you. Now we move to Dangerous, which something I noticed is like just right now, and I'm curious if this is just genius, but they do shit on purpose. The N and the U are more symbols that like I forget what these symbols actually mean.
Oh, they're more blocky right now.
So, and they're obviously doing the hidden message stuff right now for some marketing thing. That's the only thing I have. See if it's like that on Spotify.
That's what I'm checking right now. No, I got a normal N, normal U.
I know the lyrics, I think, in Dangerous, there's certain letters spelled out.
Well, it changes like almost, not daily, but like you only have a limited time. You have a limited time to see it.
I think like they are like the house must endure or whatever. I don't know, but there's like a bunch of shit. But anyway, going into Dangerous. Dangerous, I think, goes the absolute hardest out of any song when that beat drops.
Yeah.
When that shit hits, it's like a ooh.
I think that's like it's kind of like the granite drop, you know?
It is, yeah, but it's even like harder than that. It's almost got
like
like this. What style of music am I thinking of? I almost get
Sleep
like
Token.
like an Egyptian feel to
oh,
it.
yes,
like
yes.
like the pyramids.
And you're like a little snake just kind of like dancing hypnotically to it.
Yeah, it's like when they play the flute.
Even though I think that's technically like an Indian style music that does the snake. So, you know, whatever, you know.
I mean, this song is so sick. It just, this is definitely, I think, one of the best on the album. I'm trying to think. What am I trying to think?
When was the last time you tasted blood?
Yummy.
So that was like a little Vor thing, you know?
Yeah. Because, I mean, that I guess that's the whole thing with this song, is like, this and Vor coincide, like, ridiculously. From melodies to parts of, like, the song, like, there's a bunch of stuff, I don't know specifically message, but, like, musically that they took from Vor and, like, repurposed it a little bit, and I think it's really cool. Oh, here we go. And what it would take to stem the flood. What I was talking about
right
before.
after it.
And then dude, fucking that
the whole ending of it is just like,
holy shit, back to back with Oblivion, and you might breathe that burning breeze through paradise for me.
So again, just something pulling and breaking paradise.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think at that point, I don't want to beat the dead horse, but Paradise is a synonym for Arcadia, just like Paradise is a synonym for Eden.
Mm-hmm. And
That's the hill I'm gonna die on right now, because this is like our true digest of this album now. Um, so who knows? Because the first take was more of just kind of in awe,
when you're
the
like
the
listening
emotional
to it.
ride,
Yeah.
and now this is really taking it in.
And then obviously, I just want to touch on it again. The "Won't You Show Me How to Dance Forever," like that. It's just the feeling of him, to me, just going back into something.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the dance is more so supposed to be happy, so he wants to be shown how to be happy. I don't know.
No,
it feels like a pull, but it kind of makes sense. Because what follows this? Caramel follows it,
yeah,
or caramel? Caramel.
Damn caramel. Oh wait, no. Yes, because this is the fourth, so Caramel's fifth track. I'm trying to look and see if I could point something out here that.
But,
No, because this is definitely from the point of view, seemingly, of like Sleep Tokens thing to me. I like that feels
that
like
seems
a
more
driven song.
Yeah.
Caramel.
Caramel
We need to
just
talk about the #1 fucking on the Billboard for like a week straight or whatever.
Yeah.
This song, you get your bunta reggaeton beat. That's the boom da boom da boom da boom, like so cool. I mean, I don't know how much we really want to break this down. I mean, some of the coolest lyrical work, I think, with flow and stuff like that, and then for it to end the way it does.
Oh yeah, that did so good.
But I do love. I haven't heard this theory. I'm gonna fucking toot my own horn here that I brought up for at the end of Dangerous when it's "Won't You Show Me How to Dance Forever," and then this opening up with that music box, and it's him being this like figurine in a music box that's dancing, and that's kind of what this is. I think that's actually, for me, because I put that together just on the spot. I was like, dude, that's kind of fucking crazy, because that's what this song just, I mean, in its totality is talking about. Just being like this puppet almost.
Well, I want to caveat with that, because this has the music boxy sound to it at the beginning, and but I think it's like this unfinished music box. Like, because then when you go into even an Arcadia, you actually have like that more music, like the full-fledged music box sound. I think this is almost like that broken up music box sound, because of how this is showing more of like a pain, like, because this song is more painful, and it's like kind of singing about the pains of fame, essentially. So I think that's why, although music box, because that was like our initial reaction, was it's music boxy, but it's not like the full-fledged like they have in even in Arcadia. If that,
I do. Actually, I'll be honest. I didn't put that together until now. That's a really nice fucking pull out by you, because I'm thinking of just like the intro to even in Arcadia.
it
almost sounds not even like a music box to me. It's almost like a Jack in the Box. You know, the one you crank like the dum 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 dum, like that bullshit. Not that exact melody, but just it sounds like something you wind, and like that song.
So you're saying it's the wind up, and then as soon as it pops up, you actually just have the piano.
It sounds like in This is gonna be such a fucking random deep cut for me and nobody else, but in Princeton, New Jersey, there is a Christmas Carol play they do every year. And in the Christmas Carol, it's a very well-known tale of, like, Tiny Tim and Ebenezer Scrooge and stuff. And at the end of the play, Ebenezer Scrooge, when, his heart grows and all that stuff, and he's a nice guy, and he gives Tiny Tim a present, it's always this little music box or snow globe. And they always have a little winding mechanism on the bottom to play a tune. And even in Arcadia, 100%, that's what my brain is now moving to, like a big snow globe almost of like agony. It's like what we can fucking put it together, but we're not there yet. We gotta keep talking about Caramel, even though we're about to be there.
Yeah,
but
I was just trying to tie some thoughts. Together.
I totally hear you. I think that's a really good point. Man, that's really good imagery. I fucking love where your head's at. This song, it's cool. It's a little to like finish talking about Caramel real quick. It's fun. in like a cheesy way a little bit with the chorus, like "Stick to Me Like Caramel." It's fun. I like it. Again, the lyricism I think is really good. The musicality of it's really cool. I don't have much else to say. It's just, I think this song got taken a little too seriously by fans too. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Because I think at the end of the day, they're musicians and they know what they're signing up for. As bad as you want to take that from me, I'll fucking say it. Because, listen, I don't think they're too upset about. Oh, look, they did it with the M in this too. It almost looks like an E facing down.
It does.
Um,
We'll be right back with theories.
yeah.
We're gonna have a look at that in a second.
But, like, because I don't want to say like the feelings and everything are totally valid, and the vulnerability, like I was saying before, is huge in this music. But at the end of the day, like, they are musicians. They're famous people hiding in the limelight, which
They talk about.
But man, like, they are people too. And I think that goes both ways, where it's like they're allowed to be criticized and chastised for choices and all that musically, or some people don't like their singing. I completely disagree with it, but also it doesn't mean to stalk them and do all this fucked up. We don't have to go over it. We've talked about it ad nauseum here and just across.
It's been everywhere.
Yeah, like I think the message has been sent. But regarding the actual song, just awesome, man. I listen to this pretty routinely. It's one of my favorites on the album, which is odd for me because that shouldn't be. It, like, truthfully, based on my listening preferences. But even in Arcadia, look, they did the ends again. Yeah, man, this song is it's a journey into the abyss. Seemingly, this kind of takes me back to Tomb, of like that feeling of being underwater, almost like Atlantic and stuff like that, where he's not drowning, but he just feels shrouded in something in this. And just the "Have you been waiting long for me," like tying it in kind of like to Emergence a bit. I think like there's just turns out the gods we thought were dying were just sharpening their blades. Like it's these. Is he talking about his doubts kind of creeping back in? Is he talking about, sleep just being present always? And that's the Even in Arcadia thing. Like I don't know exactly what to pinpoint from this.
This feels like a song like you're getting ready for battle.
It feels like a rally cry. Like this is another huge point I've been thinking about a lot. They took a big swing in the second half of this album where these songs are a lot more anthemic, back to that Queen vibe, like not in song structure, but like in messaging. Like this is a very anthemic song, like a rallying song. Like I almost think of it in the same realm as like a "We Will Rock You" kind of, where it's just.
There's a lot of power to it, and I think they start off with the music box-esque sound, leading in with this more like gentle piano, and then he comes in very powerful.
So
not that he's screaming, but like when his voice comes in, it's like a
different. The most different I think he's ever sounded singing a song.
Yeah, it's undescribable for me because I don't know the right word. Because booming's not the right word because it didn't have like a deep booming bellow to it. But it came in with such power. Like, I mean, Art, I clipped the reaction of that. Again, you should check out our TikTok. You could see that, and then you could see the videos, reaction videos. I just roll back, like, in awe, because I wasn't ready for that, and it was just so powerful.
Yeah,
great song.
It's a great song, and it does a lot of cool stuff. And the ending with the cello, which I posted a TikTok of kind of playing along with it, just mimicking it on a guitar. But I think a lot is said in that without being said, and that's when you know music is fucking amazing. Because I'll say it, I've said it once, and I'll say it again, I'll say it for the rest of my life. An artist that can bring something that's not alive, like an inanimate object, and make it sing and become human, like, is the most powerful thing I think anybody can do in music, obviously. And the way the cello kind of like falls into this like minor melodic line,
it was like medieval almost.
What it kind of did for me after he said "Have you been waiting long for me?" and he does like that five-finger death punch, like gravelly version of it, and then the cello kicks in. It's back to that. I actually went totally back to the self-love aspect of it because the ending to me almost sounded like what came from his head, kind of again like screaming in the mirror, just being like I'm here, like come on, like how have we not gotten over this yet? And it's that like realization and like it's just the reality setting in, which is that cello where it's like this burning sound at the end of it with like the pendant burning and all that. Like, oh, dude, it just there's a lot of messaging in this song outside of the lyrics.
Well,
I
yeah,
think.
because what is it? The like the final verse. The last line of that, it says, "Even in Arcadia, you walk beside me still," which is pulling back to something's pulling him down. Um,
It's those because that's what that's the turns out the
the,
gods we thought were dying were just sharpening their blades, and
and
even
then
in the second verse as well. I love the most underrated fucking line in the entire album. What good is all this talk of wings when there is nothing left above?
yeah, so it's like that pessimistic outlook.
Like,
Um,
it's just like, what's the point of all this? And
yeah,
it's oh man, like this song. When I first listened to it, I didn't get it, and I'll be totally honest. I think in that regard, for me, this one I had to stew with for a while because I think I was so encapsulated by the atmosphere they built with the instrumentation because it's so cool, such a cool song. But this is definitely, I think, one of their saddest songs. I think a lot is being said without actually being said in this song.
yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. But yeah, great song. One of my favorites too.
You know what? They probably have this in the middle of the album, because I think this is supposed to be like a turning point in the
That's
album.
exactly what I was saying before. I think it's
Yeah.
supposed to be a divide here. Like this is exactly what they were trying to do. That's why instead of it being up here, because I don't think it'd be a good closing track. I think it'd be a
No.
really good opening track. I really do. But Look to Windward kind of sets the like we're moving on to the next phase. But yeah, even in Arcadia is fucking sick. Let's move on to Provider, which I won't lie, it is. I'm tied between this and Windward as my second favorite song on the album. I wasn't as crazy about it, but I actually can't stop listening to it right now.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's
Whether it's about him blowing ropes on somebody or, him actually just, being this, beautifully written soul saying, no, I just want to dress this person with nice clothes and stuff. This song has every element of what Sleep Token provides, but I think they do it arguably the best version of a lot of it. Like, dude, this is, I mean, you get like the organ sound and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, here we go. We get like this gospel-y sound into like that like super gained like harmony thing that he does where they do the I wanna be a provider. And then, yeah, and it goes into Mine. The very
Yeah.
similar and those two songs coincide very aggressively, which I think Mine them using that I think actually shows a lot more than what Vor does with Dangerous. Even I like you can make the correlation there. I feel like Mine here there's a lot to like connect because Mine being like him being like obviously you will be mine. Provider is basically being like I will do this for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
oh, just
Or I want you to be mine, because he goes, I want to be your provider.
yeah.
So kind of the essence.
But also, dude, the sing like the fucking intro, the I want to delineate
Yeah.
when he goes up high, like
Yeah.
it's just very it's very sultry. I'll say, like it's dude, it's very lustful. I mean, this is horny vessel, dude. It just listen, every squirrel's got to get his nut, but
Yeah.
the chorus when it comes in the and your fingers foxtrot on my skin, that's when my soul was doing somersaults above me. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because foxtrot, like I had a loose idea and I ended up looking it up to like reaffirm it, and it's just like this ballroom dance thing, and you're just imagining like the fingers, like it's just such a sexual thing, but it's like so beautiful in a way because that's not something you'd really ever talk about.
Yeah.
Like that's not. And just like, and our bodies converse like old friends, exchanging the years in silence with something unsaid on both ends. Surely we know the difference.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, fuck off. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just so good, man. This is arguably their best written song. Like in terms of like just how everything flows, it's incredible. But the outro, the "I can give you what you want," again, it's that beckoning, man. But here's my thing. Here's what I'm
Here's
going
your
to throw
thing.
at you. This is my big curveball.
We'll
This
see
is
if
a
I hit
Sleep
it.
Token song. This is Sleep talking to Vessel. This is Sleep bringing him back.
Well, then, so here's my caveat. This is how I'm gonna try to hit your curveball real quick. This is also from a pull. This is where Emergence fits in.
Yep.
And that's how they come. That's how they come together. So then, the original thought that Sleep is like, or not Sleep, that Vessel's like feeling more confident. Emergence is from Sleep's perspective, just like this is. And I think that's how that's how Emergence ties in, which kind of makes more sense now. Because of how it's all said. I don't know if I'm fully sold on it though.
No, there's definitely conflicting stuff. Like, I mean, there's the only good girl this side of the moon and all like that shit. I get it, but here's like the true thought process behind it for me, and here's why I say it. When I'm looking at these lyrics, I mean, obviously Sleep, and granted, the trilogy could obviously just be done, and this could have nothing to do with it, and this could just be Vessel talking about, gaining all this wealth and power and being like this person who can like provide for somebody now more than he ever has been, and he's confident in himself. I get that. If we're talking lore here, I'm just like, I'm going through this, and it almost sounds in a way, not that Vessel is now, but this sounds like it's written from the perspective of the narcissist, because the song is reassuring this person, saying like, I want to be a provider, and being like, I want to be the person in control. I want to run everything, and I want to be in the power seat of everything. And by almost letting down this like false gate, actually, I can kind of piece together a weird imagery for this. Imagine like a big castle with a big
Yep.
like draw gate, right?
Yep.
There's a giant moat around it, and like they drop the gate to let you in, and then they just like kind of pull the gate up a bit so you just fall right in the moat. That's kind of like the narcissist aspect of it. It's the it's that feeling of pulling that up and the people falling in the moat, and you having full like, you just can watch them drown or get eaten or whatever. It's that power struggle, I think, that they have, where it's just like, oh, I can just take care of everything and just, I can rule everything. And that's kind of what Sleep has always been portrayed to me as. It's like, Sleep is, the goal is to like have Vessel be this like husk of a thing to maintain power, which obviously was overtaken, if you think of it that way, and take it back to Eden.
But see, my issue is this song fits so far more well into the fact that Vessel always sees himself as like this white knight.
I totally agree.
And I think that's where my biggest issue stems from most, because Emergence makes so much sense for that white knight mentality, just like this one does.
Oh, definitely. No,
that's why I'm just confused.
I agree with you. I'm just throwing shit at the wall because I think there is a way you can. But again, I guess you can connect the dots any way you want to. You can make it fit your argument. Like,
yeah, until we get like the definitive answer, we're all just theorizing.
Which is why it'll be cool that we'll never get it. Hopefully, because then we could just keep saying stupid shit and then be like, oh, whatever. But no, man. I mean, this was another one, truthfully, and maybe it's because it was 3 a.m. when we were listening to it or whatever. But, I listening to it more and more, I really grew to appreciate that song more than any. Then we got Damocles, this is the interesting thing. I think it's the only song on the entire album with a black cover art, which is why I am very confused by that. It is fucking gorgeous too.
It is.
Like, oh my god, it's my second favorite behind Geth, but I wonder that this is the one song where I wonder if this could lead to either if this announcement's going to be a deluxe edition of the album or a second part of it. Not because of the song itself, but because of that cover art. Did they do anything weird with the? Yeah, dude, it's
the M's
M
blocky.
and N are like the two. But we'll figure that out at some point. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this song is, I think, pretty on the fucking nose too. This feels like, to me, this feels like a Vessel song.
It does.
Because it's him being like, I mean, the chorus pretty much spells it out of him being like, how far can we really take this, and when is it going to be over? That's at least what I took from it. And like, when it is over, like, what am I going to be? What do I do with myself? Which is a totally valid thing, I think, for artists to talk about. But I'm gonna let you. I just did a lot of talking.
Well, no, I'm just. Well, see, again, you hit it right on the nose. I've been trying to think about trying to look at this like a more Sleep Token perspective. But I don't think I can. I don't think I can finesse anything to make that make sense. It's like they're talking about Vessel's talking about Sleep Token here,
just like Caramel,
and it's like. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to talk about with this song because it's literally just so on the nose.
Yeah,
it's him just portraying, like, essentially venting to himself his, like, essentially, like, not fears, but, like, his anxieties about some things, and then also just mentioning, like, hey, listen, y'all love me for, like, how great this music sounds. Like, he talks about no golden grand pianos or voices from the shadows. Like, that's really what he's talking about, which is really funny because this is the only song where I don't feel like they purposely didn't go lyrically or musically heavy to just get this point across, but the rest of the album feels crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is definitely, I think, their most, how do I put this? There's a good way to put this and a bad way to put this. I don't want to say watered down, because that's the bad way to put it. But it's like, the worst way you could put it is like, no, it's not. I don't think watered down's even fair. This just sounds like a generic hard rock song to me. And I remember saying this sounds like a Nickelback song, and I stand by that. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Like, it's just different than the formula we're used to. This is a very, like, it just, I mean, obviously the first verse, I mean, he comes out swinging lyrically. That's the strongest part of the entire song. And not that every song needs to be fucking insanely great. And that's
the point of the song. Yeah,
that's the point of it. That's why it's good, because they're like, hey, man, like, we're doing our best out here. And in life in general, life advice, your best is always enough. You should always remember that. But
yeah, trying to, like, really digest this song, I feel it just beats a dead horse over and over again. That's really what it is.
There's not too much to talk about. It's a good song. It's very fun to listen to.
I love singing along to it, but, I mean,
good karaoke song.
Yeah.
But we're gonna hop over that and go into my favorite song ever.
I'm not ready.
This is taking over Euclid for me. Funny enough that it's the sister song to Euclid, Gethsemane. Wow, is the only thing I could say. I can't even, like, I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, I think it's the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life.
Well, that's because he leads with that so just gentle falsetto voice, and it just kind of like the way when he uses that, you already just feel the pain coming, and it just brings it all the way back.
And I know we talked about it. The worst part of the reaction thing was when Jive decided to take his PTO mid.
And then the
which, speaking of, actually, before we get into this,
yeah, because Jives isn't here. We're riding solo and we're crushing it. That's wild.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I've dissected the hell out of this song just listening to it, because this is the one song I do like. I will have on repeat and I'll listen to it over and over again. I think the thing that this song has more than maybe any other Sleep Token song is that there is more than one payoff in it. But the major payoff is obviously, the what might be good for your heart. It's the Euclid sounding part. But the first two verses, I mean, again, and I said this too, this isn't something I directly relate to in terms of, like, relationships and stuff, but just the lines like, this is the push parlor games we were talking about before. I'm trying to find it. You never saw me naked, you wouldn't even touch me except if you were wasted. Stuff like that. Like, again, it's not the most insane. Like, it's not sugarcoating it. This is just talking about, like, I mean, I've said narcissist 1,000 fucking times.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's what this is. This is a person that has taken control and has beaten and battered this guy so bad that he finds himself questioning his own reality, which is just so horrible. Like, even, like, again, this is not, I'm not saying this is the most lyrically, like, amazing song, but even basic stuff like "I was your robot companion, you were my favorite color,"
Simple but to the point.
like, and the way the
It
the
hurt.
color, dude, like, yeah, that I had like tears. But also another cool thing for the verse, when they do the math rock thing,
Euclid.
yeah, this is one big thing I kind of tried to put together in my head. Again, very on the nose, but I think they wrote a math rock riff almost specifically with these two next couple of parts relating directly to Euclid, because obviously Euclid was the guy who created, like, geometry. So I think it's kind of funny to write, like, a math rock riff to directly relate to that song, not only in sound but also in the title of it,
Yeah.
because, you know, they have so many references to, like, shapes and parallels and all that stuff too. Like, it's just, there's a lot of layers to this shit.
And again, the title of the song just pulled back to Christianity yet again.
Yeah, so I've heard it explained a lot better than what I did, because I think I fucking butchered it.
Well, I think, again, it was like 4 a.m, and we pulled, like, the Google AI
yeah,
just to describe it.
I think the like story, the way it, like, kind of went was like, I think Jesus, like, I think the famous part of it was, like, he was crying so much, like, it led to him, like, bleeding or something in this place. So when you, like, crying, if you want to think of it as, like, crying blood, this song, I think that actually perfectly emanates what this song is, because this whole song is just about being so beat up and down on yourself for the first 5 minutes that, like, you're just wondering, like, questioning, like, it's almost like an abused dog. Like, it doesn't know any better than just to go back to its owner.
Well, it was also the point of a reflection, right? Something like that. I forget.
I think the reflection, that's what I was going to get to. The reason why I actually like this a little bit more than Euclid, and it's purely based on the lore of everything, because this one I think you can take either way. I do. When it goes into the trap stuff, I think this actually is him being confident, and it's not fabricated, and it's him being like, no, you know what? Fuck you. Which, that's the part of Euclid that's not there. It's him being, and it's like, dude, no, I'm done with this shit. At the end, where, like, just the way he's, like, saying it, there is so much emphasis and power in the way he's, like, shutting the shit down, where I'll be honest, for the first time, it sounds authentically like who Vessel is like the actual human. And that's why I think this is a Vessel song more than anything than a Sleep song, which I could be totally wrong. But, like, it's like saying to this, it's not him talking to himself. It's him going to this person that fucking wronged him so terribly and being like, no, you have your fucking problems and I have my fucking problems. And realistically, we need to get over both of them. But at the end of the day, you're always going to stick in my fucking head because I love you. And that's why the best part, arguably, of this song is how the song does not resolve musically. It just ends.
No, I know.
And it's just, you're stuck in, he's in that constant fucking cycle.
Well, I think that's more so where it pertains to
God, it
the,
hurts.
even in Arcadia, because he said, even in Arcadia, you walk beside me still.
Yep, exactly.
And, hey, I don't think in past selves, what is it? Are you going to dance in line with me? You know, it's like Gamer Fantasy. No. Taking it, like, stride by stride together. I need to relook at those lyrics to see if it actually makes sense. But it's, he does stride by stride together, and then he says something later on. He changes it to, like, walking besides each other or something. Then you have even in Arcadia, he says, even in Arcadia, you walk beside me still, and I think he references something here. Hold on, I saw it a second ago. I still see you when the lights get low. So, like, again, you're
Then I just
still
not belong to God
you,
even.
Yeah, so
That's why
even
I'm
that,
like, is this lore?
but like
You know?
there's still the references of like because again this gets a little more positive towards the end because this was
does.
more of like a control thing. So like again he's in this paradise, so he's in a better headspace, which again I said paradise is self love, so he's in this better spot, but it's like it's still there knacking at him, you know.
And it always will be, which
Yeah,
is fair.
because
And
he says no one's gonna save. He starts off with no one's gonna save me from my memories. Like no matter what happens, it's still there. Um, but
it's this level of acceptance that he has, and this is a better version of it, I think, than in previous other songs, and it's why it's my favorite because it's him truly understanding who he is, and that's why it leads so perfectly into Infinite Baths, I think, which we'll get into in a second. But this song, the way it just kind of lays out, I think, what all the music is about. There's no underlying thing here. This is a direct emotional line into the relationship. It's very like we're getting
It's-
real shit that happened. Like
yeah,
the you never saw me naked stuff. Like feeling like the undercover lover, all that stuff. One of the fucking hardest lines in this entire song was someone who wasn't always crying on the journey back. Someone who didn't feel the low blows either way. Like, dude, just talking about this person who can't feel. Like, it's this person who, like, they're so wrapped up in themselves.
That's a reference to the first part. So he was trying to turn himself into someone that didn't care.
Like,
If-
dude, I genuinely think I know that because I'm caught up on the person I try to turn myself into for you, and he lists all those things, but I think that goes both ways. I do because I think he's trying to numb himself from this.
He's trying to match the energy.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my
And he
God.
couldn't because he
Because
just loves.
he's a normal person.
He loves.
Yeah. Well, at least we
Um,
think.
But then you have the very end. So if you could scroll down,
Mhm.
so I quote this properly. So obviously he leads with the outros. It's, no one can save me from my memories. However, he at the end he goes, and I've learned to live besides it, even though it's over now, and I will always be reminded. So essentially, he's just pulling from that first line. He knows the memories are there. He's accepting it. He knows it's going to be there, but it's an acceptance. And
Yeah.
it's part of the reflection.
And dude, it's just such a masterfully done song. It does the way that he ties everything together is just phenomenal. Which leads us right into the closing track,
Infinite Baths. Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing. Infinite Baths.
Let's just start off just the intro, just the pullback to.
Go ahead, take this one.
Oh well, the pullback to "The Night Does Not Belong to God." It wasn't as put together as it, but you had the same tone, and it was just the simple notes going back and forth until he comes in, and this feels more like a reflection, because he leads with like when you plucked me from the grotto, which almost feels like a little reference to "Are you really okay?" Because it's like I raised you in the night or something. Is that dark? So I feel like this is kind of referencing that. But then he comes into this chorus. Oh, so beautiful.
Oh, one of the best melodies they've ever sang. For sure.
Dude, that hit me in the soul, and it felt so. It's probably this. The way they did this is the same way they did Ascensionism Live at the end. The way they pulled it together. So that's kind of the semblance, if you haven't ever seen them live, the semblance of the end of Ascensionism that we talked about when they did it live was just this beautiful cinematic masterpiece of emotion. And when they bring this in for the chorus, it almost the equivalent. So like I would say Infinite Baths is supposed to be positive because in my mind a bath is like a warmth, and warmth is a symbolism more so of like a love and happiness. So like Infinite Baths I'm going to say is like this, again, I'm going to relate this to self-love because that's assuming what paradise is. So that you have the self-love is just like I'm finally like dealing with all this, and I'm finally like loving myself. Um, and then it just feels like this warmth. It almost feels like you were in the dark for so long, and then like you finally see the light of the sun pierce through like trees. So I'm gonna equate this to if you've ever been like in like doing like if you're ever out in the nature, and you're out like we're still good. We're out in this like your colder environment, and it's in the morning. You're just freezing, right? And you're just shivering, and then all of a sudden the sun starts to come up, and then the light hits you, and literally just the warmth of the sun feels so good on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially the equivalent to how this chorus made me feel. It just felt so, like, I don't know, like, I think I'm gonna say this in like the Christianity version. It just feels like essentially God touching you. I think this is the essence of it.
To go, I mean, on the nose, like to kind of go off what you said, which I think was very well said and well done. And the waters are warm where they used to run freezing, where there used to be storms. My horizon is fleeting. And he goes, I'm so tired inside I could sleep through a landslide, but I'm finally here and I'm not leaving.
Dude,
this
it's
time.
oh my, what a song!
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a song!
It's really fantastic. Also, one of my favorite lines I think they've ever written too for like an individual one is taller than Titans on box springs.
Yeah,
Like, oh my God, like that's such fun imagery. That's so fucking cool.
No, that whole verse is
But, dude, that, and then also, I mean, obviously, are you the method in my madness? Are you the glory in my wrath? Is, again, we get that oxymoron, Jekyll and Hyde bullshit, and then bursting colors when you laugh. I've been running since I got here, but now I'm falling into infinite bats. Which, that's why, because again, I'm pessimistic sometimes. I'm cynical. It's like, you get these two different meanings, I think, for me. And this is what I've held on to listening to this song, of him being a conflicted individual, which is so very obvious that we've said it 100 times now, but like that just specifically that chorus, you can take it as like Infinite Bats being like this, like holy experience of like, yes, I've made it. And says now, like, I've been running since I got here, but now I'm falling into Infinite Bats. It's being like, I've made it.
yeah.
But I do also just wonder if there is a tinge of meaning in that.
Yeah, the fact they changed it from, I forget what was before. I fought so long to be here, and I'm never going back. But now, falling seems like a very important word there.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And It's an odd way to say something positive. You know what I mean?
Is he like just? Is this a referendum to him falling back into another one of these pools, like another body of water? Not because Infinite Bats, I mean, that could mean so many things. It could just be a fun way of describing like his Eden whatever, or it could mean that Infinite Bats are all these different like times in his life and his brain, like the different emotions. Because that's how I think it's an infinite bath, like any of them. It's this never-ending thing, and I think it's all the different emotions he could feel. And is that specific one he's talking about kind of falling back into where he was? Because then there's the Drift With Me bridge, where it's like this very spacious thing, and they do obviously we'll call it the Pink Floyd thing. That's actually,
I have a
wanted
question.
To bring that up. I wanted to bring up the comments because Infinite Bats, we got some cool comments from you guys. Like, who hurt bros?
Yeah. Was it Drift With Me in the original thing? I could have sworn it was Drift, Let Me.
I'm pretty sure it's With Me.
Then I'm just curious because I remember hearing that, but again, the first listen was kind of weird. Not kind of weird, but it was just like a little show.
So just shout out to South End Busker 7534 saying Pink Floyd reference there, just going over everyone's head. I'm honestly not an avid Pink Floyd guy, but I have seen this a lot. That little guitar thing, it's in reference to, which I will say, spoiler, down the road that will be one of the bands we do a whole discography review of.
Don't spoil that.
Spoiler. I think the song, that part of it is supposed to emanate the lead singer writing from a very specific song about his struggles with fame, and that's at the end of the day, that's just what this album is in its totality is partially about. Is about the emotions and stuff, becoming famous, whatever. But that's really cool. I love that, and I feel like that's almost why the drift with me there is so important. Just because it's that having that Pink Floyd thing and being like stuck in this like vacuum of space almost is like kind of that vibe they would always give me whenever I've heard songs in passing or their most famous shit. But then we get to the most gnarly screaming we've ever had, and
so unexpected in my opinion too,
especially the very end. So. All this glory you did not earn, every lesson you did not learn. You will drown in an endless sea. If it's blood that you want from me, you can empty my arteries. Will you halt this eclipse in me? He says it twice. And it's hard because to me, the instrumental ending, it loops back into Look to Windward perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's this whole cycle, and it's just we get this conflicting thing, and I can't help but just take this last part as like it. He's not getting better. He thinks he is, but he's not. But there is the realization at the end saying "Teeth of God," like the tour, which was so fucking cool to experience that real time when we reacted to it. I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, yes, that's why they called it that. That's cool. Blood of Man, I will be what I am. Like, he is accepting his fate, and he knows there's nowhere to or I shouldn't say there's nowhere.
No, wait, didn't he say that? Where did he say I knew my fate? Was it in? Even in Arcadia? Hold on, I need to pull this lyric back up. Stand by. Somehow I knew my fate. Because I paid my penance kindly well in time for Judgment Day. Somehow I knew my fate. Turns out the gods we thought were dying were just sharpening their blades.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that just, it's, again, we're getting this like looping thing of just...
But this is also odd because it just really just, it's an aggressive call out. He's just screaming. He's saying, all the glory you did not earn and every lesson you didn't learn. And he's like, you will drown in an endless sea. So that might be a callback to Atlantic.
I think this album reflects two more than any. And I think, God forbid, we do get a double album. I want that shit to be reflective of Sundowning more than anything. Oh my God. Dude, if we get... Not that they have to release super heavy music and stuff, but if they can just go fucking balls to the wall, because they're so good at it. But part of why it's so good, I think, is because they do it in measured amounts, right? Like, at the end here, it hits so hard because it's not something they normally do.
Like I said,
especially
they're Batman.
With that fucking goblin scream that he does at the end. Like, that just sounds nasty with the chugging guitars.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's masterful. I mean... such an incredible closing song.
My question, I don't recall them ever referencing Teeth of God until now. Besides the tour.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that's part of it. I think at the end of the day, like we can say there's a divide in it with like some songs being Vessel and some being Sleep Token. It just feels so much more... I shouldn't say Vessel. I should say, like, the band itself. That's more what I mean. And Sleep Token being, like, the lore. So the band itself being, like... You can just fucking take all of me. Just fucking take me. Like, just fucking rip me to shreds. Like... And, like... Use all your indulgence on me. Like... It's just hard. Because... There's references
confusing.
to biting and stuff.
There's been reference to biting and eating throughout everything.
Obviously with Vor and all that. But that's like...
Quite a wittily. But I think that was in the offering, too. It's like, he said to just take a bite of me.
Bite of me. But then, because the only other thing, if you want to make it a lore thing, I do think Teeth of God, Blood of Man, I will be what I am.
That's something important that I've yet to fully place.
Here's what I've decided to take from it as of right now is I think this is just Vessel in the story talking about him becoming all powerful. That he has now the teeth of God, the wrath of gods, but he's still the blood of man. Like, he can't escape.
No, I get what you're saying.
But even if he is all powerful, he will always be what he is.
Just a man.
Acceptance.
Just a man.
But that
kind of wraps up the thoughts of all the thoughtness.
Now, the last little part of this is the hardest part. We don't have anything written down for this. We're just gonna fucking rip it. I'm gonna do it. You don't have to. I'm gonna try to score these.
We have to.
I'm gonna score these. I think we're gonna rank the albums 1 through 4 in terms of, I think, our favorite. In terms of, I guess, songs. I guess how you attach to them and stuff. And at number 4 for me, because we'll go 4 to 1.
Oh, you want to go 4 to 1? Interesting.
I am gonna put Even in Arcadia at 4. Even though I really, really, really enjoyed the album. The original trilogy, I have too many songs I'm like too emotionally attached to, where Geth is my favorite Sleep Token song, and I think it's going to remain that way. I do think, in terms of the rest of the album, Look to Windward hits really hard for me, Dangerous hits really hard for me, Caramel hits really hard for me, Even in Arcadia and Provider do. You can argue the run from Dangerous to Infinite Bats is just as strong as the run in Tomb for the latter half of the album, which is kind of why it reminds me of Tomb. But I just think they have other albums with more, not powerful tracks, but there's like just this aura around them that like just pull me in differently. I can't explain it. Like some songs on here don't pull me in as much as other ones. Like, I'll be honest, Damocles is not one that's really ever pulled me in since it came out. It's a fun song. It never pulled me in. Caramel did. Emergence kind of did, but only, I mean, for a little bit. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think they're great songs, but I think some of their other albums just have banger after banger after banger after banger. Like this one does, but just not to the level, I think. Personally.
No,
I still think it's really, really good album. I'm sticking. You could talk me into it being like a 9 out of 10. I originally gave it an 8.5. I think I would say a 9 out of 10 because like we're splitting hairs here. By the way, this isn't like significantly lower than any of the other albums. They're like you could literally be like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. But I will say, weakest isn't the right word. This is the 4th album for me out of their 4 that they've put out. I'll leave it at that.
Well, no, I think I'm on the same boat as you. With this being the 4th, even though there's so much to offer here, it's so hard. But they're just the earlier albums. I think they had more of a direction, and it was able to pull better. But who knows? This might improve based off what they do with whatever else they're coming out. You know what I mean? The 3 albums feel better purely because of the story that's with them.
Sure.
And this one because we're still so confused.
And with time, things could change.
Yeah,
things could make more sense.
This is as of May 18th, 2025 at 3:09 p.m.
Hell yeah.
This is our ranking because again, things change. But I'm gonna agree with you just because although this album is a ride, I think the other albums hold up a little better.
So you want to give it a score? Or you're just going to stick
well,
with it?
technically,
give it
so
9?
my scoring would be number 1's going to technically be 10 out of 10. Number 2 is going to be 9 out of 10. Number 3 is going to be.
I think 10 out of 10 is like if we're like thinking in the grand scheme of like actually ranking these albums, it's not 10 out of 10 based on Sleep Token. It's the best thing you've ever heard in your life. Like I've never heard anything better than that's how I view a 10.
Well, see, I'm almost viewing because most of these are really just kind of leaning that way.
Yeah.
Just because I'm been so enthralled by their music. Because I can't go, they're all 10 out of 10, but this one's my 4th favorite album, you know?
I know. Yeah,
so I think
so
I technically put this at, like, maybe, like, on the scale of the albums, probably an 8.
Okay. No, I think that's fair. And
but see, trying to put the other albums in perspective, this might make it technically a 7. Because I don't want to put things on the
that's what I'm
same
saying.
pedestal.
We're gonna rank these albums 1 through 4. I want you to rank the album based on all music you've heard. Like your absolute favorite album. I think if you feel like there's an album that you never ever want to skip a song on it, that's a 10. Which that's like I've never even heard a 10. I'll just tell you straight out. There will be an album that's a 10 for me one day. There's a couple that are really close, but that's just what I'm going off of. So I feel like the 8.5 threshold I feel like is perfect for this album.
Yeah,
that's still one of the better albums we've ever heard. It's incredible. The messaging is incredible. Geth is my favorite song by them, which brings me to 3. And he's gonna punch me in the face. Take It Back to Eden's number 3.
You piece of shit. No, how could you?
Take Me Back to Eden is what got me into it. It's so incredible. But I'll just be honest, there are weaker tracks on it. There just is. It also has some of their strong. Euclid has fucking taken over my life for the past couple of years. And I just can't get over how fucking amazing that album is. I think everything's great. And Chokehold is my first love. I think it's one of their weaker songs, to be honest. Like, now that I know all their stuff, I mean, I just think the first 2 albums, with how weird they get and like all these different musical choices they get, even though you can say they sound better in terms of production and stuff, I don't know, man. I think there was this rawness to them that they haven't lost, but there was just something in those first 2 albums that just fucking it just gets me a little bit more. But that being said, like, don't take anything away. Take It Back to Eden is probably the number 1 most listened to album of my entire life. After going through the discography, maybe it's tied with one of the other 2 albums, but it's really, really good. I'm actually going to break away just because how good this album is. Usually I'm very much like if it's an 8 or an 8.5, there's no points. This would be like, Take It Back to Eden's like an 8.75 for me. I don't know if I could put it at 9. Specific. But like, Euclid by itself is one of my favorite songs ever.
It is
Geth
top tier.
Is I think my favorite song. Damn near ever, if not like top 3 with Euclid. Like, I have 2 Sleep Token songs in like my top 5 favorite songs ever, and which is crazy.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, like, it's just right there. It's so good, and it's because I can't say. I'm gonna wait to save my 2 other rankings. But what do you got at number 3?
I got Tomb.
Yeah.
And it's a hard decision here because Tomb is, again, one of their more sadder albums, and lyrically it just goes fucking nuts. But I think the emotional pull isn't as there as the other albums that I get listening to those. Because again, it feels disingenuous because it's so well written. It really is, but it doesn't have the same allure and pull. Like, you have the couple songs that'll really get me. But in the end, it's missing that emotional oomph that the other 2 give me.
Yeah, if you're not getting that feeling of like that, almost, even though it's so new, that almost nostalgic emotional pull to it, I could totally see how it's hard. Not because that's the thing with Take Me Back to Eden. It's like that has the most nostalgic pull for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge part of why I like so many of those songs so much. Not because, and I'm not saying it's because they're bad, but it's just like, I look back and think of that moment when I first discovered the band, and I'm like, dude, when I heard Rain for the first time, oh my god, when I heard Euclid for the first time, Ascensionism, like, dude, it's just also awe-inspiring. But are you gonna put a number on that?
I'm probably gonna technically call that,
because did you technically say Arcadia is a 7 or an 8?
See, if I call it an 8, then that technically makes Tomb an 8.5 in comparison. Because it's just...
They're close. It's really close.
All the albums are close.
Yeah.
It's just they pull differently. You know what? Now, as far as music goes, 8.5. That's how I'll do it.
Okay.
So Even in Arcadia is an 8. Tomb is an 8.5.
I'm gonna double check that because we're getting damn near down.
Oh yeah, we're doing things. What's our percentage at?
Because I was at 60.
Because we're at the home stretch.
All right.
Are we back to recording?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Back, but for my number 2, drum roll, which obviously will reveal my first as well. For the exact same reasons you just said, I have Tomb. I have Tomb at 2, but like I said, I think they have the thing that separates this album from Take Me Back to Eden is I always talk about it. I think the run of songs from like 4 to the end, okay, I think it's like that to Missing Limbs is just different, man. Like it is that dark emotional stuff that I did find myself resonating a lot with a lot of, like past things I've dealt with and all that stuff. But man, there's just something about that music. I think I also love the idea of like the ocean and water. I love the ocean. I love like marine biology and shit like that. Like that was always in my wheelhouse, and that stuff, it just speaks to me in a different way than a lot of other stuff in terms of messaging. What doesn't make it one is that I don't turn that on at any time.
It's specific.
The first album, because obviously Sundowning is my one, which we'll get to, but like I can put that on at any time and listen to any song and be in the mood for it. Tomb, I don't have that. I have to be in the mood, but it's just so powerful to me that being in the mood for it, like, it just makes it so worth it. And that's what I'm going to give Tomb, like, it feels disingenuous to give it a 9 because I still think it's like in that really high 8 thing. But I guess because I don't want to get too down into it, like an 8.93 or whatever. I guess I'll call it a 9. But man, dude, that shit. I loved everything about it. I loved the mixing of it. I just the production in general. Oh man, the pissed off guitar tone, like everything about it's so good.
No, I completely agree with you. It's just besides your ranking technically because mine's below what my second album is Sundowning, which is very obvious. But I mean, it's a close second. It is because that has. I know you said "Look to Windward's" the best title track, or not title track, opening track. I don't think you can beat the opening. That
it's so good. Man.
It is. Oh. It is so enthralling, and it just pulls you into the world right away. I don't think you can beat that. And it's the track itself is just a roller coaster of emotion, and you have this constant transition in the music where it really encapsulates Sleep Token as a whole because the variety that it really offers. And I mean, the closing track of Bloodsport really is just. There's only one song that beats that, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
I don't know what else there's to say, but obviously you're gonna caveat with a little more because it's. I wonder if it's your number one, you know?
Maybe. Find out at 11. You have a number for it?
Oh, that's solid 9. Solid 9, if not like in the percentage points between 10. You know what I mean?
So
I'm not going to call it a solid 10. But it's damn near there. It's like so I'm just going to give it solid 9.
I think
strong, steady,
you could totally
immovable
talk me
9.
into it, man. You could totally talk me into it. So good, such a great album. But it's my number one. Sundowning, and I'm trying to find a way to describe how I truly feel about it.
It's sundowning, you know.
I think that was. It took me until listening to Sundowning to really understand what is going on, and the fact that this is more than just music; it's a story. And I think going on that adventure as like you you know, it's funny because you talk about how like we weren't there for the original ride. I wasn't, in a way, truthfully how I feel about it, I wasn't there for the ride. Even though like the ending, I didn't know that was the ending I was watching, right? It was just like, this song's incredible. And then when you get into the first album and you start reading stuff and how everything ties in together, you're just like, oh my God. And how it changes the perception of how you listen to the, Taking Back to Eden and stuff. Dude, they just did so many cool things track to track on there. I think the way that album flows, I mean, I can't get enough of it. Like, the amount of the intro to The Night Does Not Belong to God just rings in my head.
It's so good. It is just...
It takes me
It's
to
immortalized in my mind.
It is. That's a great way to put it. It's like this deity in my own brain. And I feel like that was part of that melody. It's the siren melody. It's just everything, man.
Yeah. No, without a doubt.
And there's so many tracks in there where you could say they were trying to find their sound, whatever. Dude, that was their sound. It is their sound. Stuff even like God's. Like, everything's in there, man. Like, it's so money. Everything on it. I can listen to that album every day until the day I die, and I'll never get sick of it.
True.
And the deluxe edition's cool too.
Oh
but
yeah,
that's excluding it. I'm not excluding that. In. Bloodsport also, being my wife's favorite song, is cool. Like I'm happy she found a song that she really, really enjoys, even if she's not the hugest Sleep Token fan. But like, I don't know, there's just something special to me there for that, and also kind of really getting the idea too of who 2 is through that, like all this like creative drumming and stuff. It's just awesome. It's so much fun shit.
No, it's
He needs
he
attention.
needs this, and he keeps destroying it. So and then if you don't give it to him, he's gonna start going nutty. So we're fighting right now. But I mean, yeah, between the little 2 stories we have about that really encapsulates that album. It's really just such a well put together album, especially for like their true first full album. Crazy.
I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's truthfully, it is the closest, maybe second closest. It's right up there for me in like a 10, where that album just like, I can't not listen to it all the way through when it comes on. It's a 9.5, 9.75 for me.
Yeah, like, it's so well done. It really is.
But go ahead.
But obviously that leaves me with Taking Back to Eden as my number 1 album. Mainly because it's really the latter half of that album that really...
So good.
It's just...
So good.
It's just the ride. And I think the culmination of it all, with Euclid being the end of the story until this came out, even though we're trying to process if this even is part of the story or whatnot,
Right.
which I kind of think it is. But that culmination of the story into one song was just so beautiful. They really, I mean, I don't have the right words to say this, because it was funny, because Taking Back to Eden was the song that really enticed me to listen, and then Euclid just kind of took over just because of how melodic, is that the right word?
In terms of what?
That's what I'm trying to... The way it was built, and the piano, and I feel like I'm using wrong words. I'm trying to be fancy, but that was the word that shot straight to my head. Maybe obviously it doesn't seem like the right word, because I can't articulate what else I'm trying to formulate here.
Just to try and lend you a hint here, melodic being like the actual, like the singing lines, and like where the song is kind of guiding you, like in a sense of like its musicness. So like, what your ears like, that if you were to think of something as like for like the bridge part,
Yeah,
like that.
No, I
that's
think
the melody of it all. Like,
yeah, and then you have the whole the layering at the end. Like, I mean, I just more of just like, I need to not talk about Euclid specifically, but like that song itself was just so beautiful. but I think just the encapsulation of all the emotions that they had throughout the album just thrown into each song at the end of and Take Me Back to Eden, with each song kind of just really just because again I was saying Chokehold came in so powerfully. It's such a sea shanty song. I can't speak. It's you're on the ocean, but you feel like you're just like you're riding into a storm, but you're confident about it. You're just like it starts off nice and strong, and then you get little boppy. And I know Do You Wish That You Loved Me is not like the fan favorite, but I still love listening to it.
Mm-hmm. You're a damn defender of it, and I
Yeah,
respect it.
and then The Apparition. My God, come on.
So good. Yummy.
And Take Me Back to Eden is just a roller coaster. It really is. They do it so they put it together so well. I think that song itself would be the best way to be like, here's all Sleep Token has to offer, because it literally they do everything.
Yeah.
They do everything and they do it so well. And the payoff for that is so well with the explosion of the emotions. And then you have Ascension. Listen, I think that was just, I think the album itself, each song, and then the payoff at the end with Euclid is why it's just number one. It's just each song is building and building and building, and then you have Take Me Back to Eden is just this explosion of almost like a desperate rage almost, and then boom, Euclid.
Yeah, man. No, the imagery in that album is second to none. I mean, you want to talk about like a score for a movie? That whole album is, you know.
Yeah, but I guess at that point that's gonna be like a 9.5.
Yeah.
Pushing like 9.999 repeating, you know.
Listen, you can say it's a 10 if it's your 10.
Yeah, but see, I can't say it's a solid 10 because sometimes a song will come on. Euclid's a no skip for me, like always. But sometimes a song comes on and it's like, you know what, I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
More often than not, I am in the mood, but sometimes I'm just not. So it's a solid 9.5.
And with that, that's gonna wrap up the Sleep Token slog that we just went on.
Yeah, that was a ride. Jesus.
So awesome to go back and look at all this, and
it was.
I can't wait to see what happens if they do end up releasing some new thing or whatever. But just want to say, if anybody stayed for this entire ride, thank you for being here with us and listening to us bullshit. We love this band. We love talking about stuff. Our next adventure is going to be diving into Avenged Sevenfold, but
yeah,
that we'll see when that happens, because this album's just eating up so much listening time. It's hard to like.
It really
pinpoint
is.
it.
And then we're just trying to dissect it all, and because we're not supposed to be a Sleep Token channel, but
it's a big part of the reason we started, because it's
yeah.
like, hey, we want to talk about music and stuff, and it's just the band that we really connected on, whether it's going to the gym or just talking and passing, whatever, on Discord playing games. Like, there's just so much to always talk about because we like the music so much, which is so fucking cool, man. It's cool to have something like that. So,
but I mean, even before Sleep Token, back in high school, we were Avenged boys.
Oh, definitely, yeah. That was like, but Avenged wasn't like lore ridden like this.
Yeah, it also didn't encapsulate us. Like, we had our joke songs, but like here we could play any one of these songs and we're just like in our feels singing along.
Yeah, man. Like, it's really cool. It's awesome. So, again, appreciate you guys sticking around. Toss a like on this. Check out our TikTok. I think we're just Busted.Shovel on there.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see if we probably can we link the TikTok to the YouTube page somehow?
We can put the link in the description.
Listen, we're trying, you know.
But yeah, if there's anything else you guys want us to talk about or flame us for not bringing up, please do.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the comments we got on some of the reaction videos. You guys are cool for that. We love you.
You're real busters out there, you know?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool that you guys are trying to be a part of something here. So,
a part of us.
Part of us.
Because we're on a podcast and our opinions matter.
Way more than yours. Sorry, bud.
Maybe you should do a podcast.
Maybe they should lower the price of podcast equipment. Because like I say on the TikTok, there are not enough opinions out there.
Excuse you.
And with that,
keep on digging.
Stay digging.
pop up and be like,
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Penis in the morning. Penis, cock, and balls.
penis at night.
Oh, they actually look fucking money. I didn't even fucking play with this.
Yeah.
Penis.
Dude, we should make that.
Penis
Can we hit up Chia?
But make it penises. Oh, so it would just be like they grow around it'd be the bush.
Mm-hmm.
And just be a phallic object straight up.
That'd be cool. Or like, we get one of those, but it just has like individual, like lines of growth just coming out of the shaft.
Ew.
So it just looks like a barren pine tree.
No.
Why?
I think the bush looks more authentic.
Well, yeah, that's like the base model, and then we have, the spiky model.
Base model.
And then. Listen, we gotta make these companies money somehow. What will America do?
Without us?
God
I don't
damn it.
know a lot.
We need to tariff the Chia penises. That's all I'm saying.
Up now, swing wide those gates.
I don't even know what would be the most karaokeable song from the album.
Democles. Well, you know what? That's the easiest one to sing.
I'd be begging for relief.